everybody. Al Wester, along with Lindsey Nelson, Sam Bennett, Luke Griffin, and our Mutual Network football crew, speaking to you from Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Tonight, the 28th All-Star game in the National Football League. It's the Pro Bowl, the All-Stars of the National Conference against the All-Stars of the American Conference. There'll be approximately 55,000 in this stadium before kickoff time. This is the final NFL football action that wraps up the 1977 football season. 64-degree weather here in Tampa, Florida. A cool, strong breeze blowing across from the north into the press box here. Clubs have star-studded lineups, and we've got a good one coming your way over Mutual in just a few moments. What will be the key play in tonight's Pro Bowl game, and who will be the key player that makes it work? Well, we're going to be watching for that player because he's going to be the recipient of Pennzoil's Key Play Award. He'll receive an outstandingly beautiful plaque. This magnificent wall trophy will remind him of his outstanding performance on the field tonight and for many years to come. Whether he chooses to pursue football later on or elects to retire and after an early fling at it. Mutual's broadcast crew here in the booth will be picking the key play and the player, and we'll announce the results at the conclusion of tonight's Pro Bowl game. You might want to jot down some notes on the game as it goes on. Make your own pick, but I'll bet this. I bet you're going to agree with our choice at the end. So stay tuned at the end of the game as we announce the winner of Pennzoil's Key Play Award. A beautiful wall trophy for the man who makes it work. All right, the All-Stars are individually being presented and introduced out there, and very quickly, I think we had better run to our lineups and check them off for you. For Chuck Knox's NFC All-Star team, at split end is number 83, Sammy White, the great Minnesota Viking star. At left tackle, All-Pro Dan Deerdoff, number 72 of the St. Louis Cardinals. The left guard, number 62, Ed White, the 9-year veteran of Minnesota. The center, starting center, number 54, Tom Banks, a 6-year veteran of St. Louis. Number 68, Conrad Dobler from the St. Louis Cardinals will be starting at right guard. At right tackle, number 73, Ron Yari of the Minnesota Vikings. This will be his 8th Pro Bowl game. And at tight end, number 89, Billy Joe Dupree from the Dallas Cowboys, the world champions of pro football. In the backfield, the wide receiver is number 88, Drew Pearson of Dallas. The running backs are number 34, Walter Payton, the great All-Pro and Player of the Year in the National Football League from the Chicago Bears. Number 30, Larry McCutcheon of the Los Angeles Rams, starting his 5th Pro Bowl, will be at the other running back spot. And the quarterback starting tonight is young Pat Hayden in his 2nd year in the National Football League from the Los Angeles Rams. Looking quickly to the starting lineup for the American Football Conference All-Stars, number 88, Lynn Swann of Pittsburgh will start at the split end. Number 78, All-Pro Art Shell of Oakland at left tackle. All-Pro Gene Upshaw, number 63, also from Oakland, will be at left guard. Another All-Pro, Jim Langer of Miami, number 62, will be the center. The right guard, he also an All-Pro this year, number 68, Joe DeLamielleure of Buffalo. The right tackle is number 75, George Coons of the Baltimore Colts. And the tight end, All-Pro Dave Casper from the Oakland Raiders, number 87. In the backfield, Lydell Mitchell, number 26 of the Baltimore Colts. And number 32, Franco Harris, the great running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The wide receiver, Nat Moore, number 89, an All-Pro from the Miami Dolphins, and he'll be catching passes because the number 1 quarterback in pro football in the National Football League, Bob Greasy of the Miami Dolphins, number 12, will be quarterbacking and throwing those passes at the beginning of the ball game. Those are the 2 offensive alignments. And right now, we're getting all set for the kickoff.
United has more fares to save you money to more places than any other airline.
I want to break away from it all, you know. I fly the old friendly skies, but I got to save some money.
You can really save on United's night coach, 20%. All you have to do is leave after 10 p.m.
Oh, well, can you save me money any earlier?
Where do you want to go?
Well, I want to go see my mother on the East Coast.
United Super Saver can fly you round trip to New York for more than a third off.
She doesn't live in New York.
Where does she live?
Small town. You never heard of it.
Then fly United's Freedom Fare. Save 20% to 102 cities. Nobody saves you money to more places than United. We built the largest airline in the free world around you. Certain fares have restrictions, so call us or your travel agent for all the details.
Can you give me some prices?
Coming up.
United saves you money to more places than any other airline. So call United or call your travel agent today. It's 6:05 at KCBS.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure once again to share the Mutual microphones with my broadcasting partner of many Monday night NFL football games and a football voice is known across the land, the genial gentleman from Knoxville, Tennessee, America's #1 football voice, Mr. Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Al Wester. Hello again, everybody. In just a moment, we'll have the toss of the coin. Freddie Wyatt is the referee, and his crew will be coming out to the center of the field. We'll have the toss of the coin. It is natural turf here at Tampa Stadium, and just now Tony Lenhart is down there practicing a few kickoffs. Of course, these are all-stars selected to participate here in a team game, and some concessions must be made to that fact in arranging the rules by which this game is played. The game is played under regulation NFL rules with the following exceptions. A standard 4-3-4 defense must be employed. Pass coverage may only be a man-for-man with a free safety. Bump and run is considered a technique of man-to-man. Will be permissible as allowed by the rules. A 3-deep zone with a strong side rotation for the cornerback only is permissible, but the middle linebacker must go weak. There's no blitzing at any time except on third down and short yardage, that's 3 yards or less, and then by the outside linebackers. So those are the rules under which this game will be played. If the score is tied at the end of the regulation play, the team scoring first during overtime play will be the winner. The game is automatically ended upon any score, including a safety. Now Freddie Wyatt is bringing the captains out to the center of the field. The umpire is Tom Hensley. The head linesman is Gil Mace. Line judge is Jack Johnson. The back judge is Ben Tompkins. The field judge is Bill Stanley. The alternate assigned here is Don Wedge. The commissioner of the National Football League is here, Pete Rozelle, located just down the line from our Mutual broadcast position here. The captains are being introduced to the official squad now. For the NFC, Tom Mack and Ken Houston. There is the toss as the coin hits the turf. And we'll get the indication in just a moment. The NFC has won the toss and elected to receive. So the National Football Conference will receive. The American Football Conference will be kicking off as we get underway with the Pro Bowl from here in Tampa. Next year, the Pro Bowl will be played in Los Angeles, and the following year, it'll be played in Hawaii. As a matter of fact, our Mr. Al West is going to go out 2 years early and scout it in a week or so.
I was just thinking about that, Lindsey. You know, I'll be out there as Mutual will bring over many of these stations. The Hawaiian Open Golf Championship in about 2 weeks. And, of course, next weekend or this weekend, as a matter of fact, on Saturday, I'll be going out.
And now the American Football Conference is coming onto the field to align themselves to kick off. And Tony Lenhart will be doing the booting. He is from the Baltimore coast, from Austria Tech. He is a sidewinder. And the National Football Conference gathered around Chuck Knox. Chuck Knox, of course, will be head coach and general manager of the Buffalo Bills next year. So this is his final association for the time being, at least, with the National Football Conference and the game here at Tampa Stadium. The ball is being teed up on the 35-yard line. Ed Brown is dropping back deep for the National Football Conference, a premier kick returner. Now the AFC is breaking the huddle. Lenhart again checks the ball on the tee. Walter Payton is dropped back there along with Eddie Brown. It's Walter Payton and Eddie Brown deep to receive the kickoff. Lenhart retreats now. And we are awaiting the whistle of referee Fred Wyatt to get the Pro Bowl game underway in Tampa, Florida. Here comes Lenhart. Sidewinder puts it up. And it is Eddie Brown taking it up to 2. He's up to the 5, cuts right to the 10. To the 15, turns upfield to the 20 to the 25. Eddie Brown to the 30 and across to the 32-yard line. So it's going to be first down and 10 yards to go. Tackle was made by Tony Green coming up to make the stop. So now it is at the 32-yard line, first down and 10 yards to go.
Lindsey, the Lazy Boy Chair Company will award a famous Lazy Boy recliner to tonight's outstanding offensive and defensive players. And our judges, Tom McEwen of the Tampa Tribune, Cameron Snyder of the Baltimore Sun, and Larry Fox of the New York Daily News will be announcing the winners at the conclusion of tonight's game.
At Hayden's the quarterback. Lawrence McCutcheon and Walter Payton are the setbacks. for the NFC. They're clad in blue here with white jerseys, and that is McCutcheon. Going right, turns over tackle, and moves across the 35 up to the 37-yard line. Lawrence McCutcheon, who rushed for 1,238 yards during the regular season, averaged 4.2, and he picked up about 5 on the play. So it'll be second down and 5 yards to go.
One of the key blocks in that play to the outside, Walter Payton, the running back, he works at trying to block too, and he blocked Jack Ham out. Ham, on the strong side as a linebacker, came across, and Payton managed to hold him up long enough to break the runner.
Sammy White and Drew Pearson, the wide receivers. Billy Joe Dupree is the tight end for the NFC. Running backs are aligned even with each other. And now hitting in there is Walter Payton. He was of a right guard and gets just short of the 39-yard line. Walter Payton carrying on the play, and so it is going to be a third down situation here. Lyle Alzado came in to make the tackle. Alzado from the Denver Broncos. The AFC, clad here in white jerseys with red pants. It is third down and 3 yards to go with the ball up there at the 39-yard line. There is no score in the first quarter. The game has just begun. Wide receivers left and right for Pat Hayden, the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams. Hayden drops back to set. Moves up. Decides he'll run the football. Goes to the right to the 40. He is heading for the 6. He's got the first down out of bounds as he moved it up to the 43-yard line. Pat Hayden started here tonight because Roger Staubach, who was voted to that position, had a busted finger, and the Super Bowls could not start, so Hayden was moved up, and Jim Hart will back him up. It's first and 10.
The linebackers were moving in on that play, and Lamar Parrish was driven back deep as Drew Pearson went deep on the play. Parrish came up as rapidly as possible to try and stop the run, but Hayden had just beaten it. He had just made the first down as Parrish came up to cover.
So it is the first down of the night. First and 10 at the 43-yard line. Running backs are well split for Pat Hayden, the quarterback. Going to a high count. Now drops, throws it out into the right flat. It's completed out there and advanced to the 50-yard line. Simply turned and spotted it out there in the right flat. Jack Ham coming up to make the tackle on Sammy White, and so it is at the 50, brought into the inbounds marker and spotted just across the 50-yard line, where it'll be second down and 3 yards to go.
That was a matter of Ron Urey not being able to handle the linebacker. The right tackle, offensive right tackle of the NFC, was on Jack Ham one-on-one. He just couldn't hold him. Ham broke the block and went and made the tackle.
Again, Sammy White goes to the right side, and Drew Pearson comes to the left side. The running backs are evened up. Hayden has the football now and trying to the left side. It is being carried by McCutcheon, and he gets across the 45-yard line and gets it up before John Dutton brought him down at about the 44-yard line. It's going to be a first and 10, the second first down in this drive. First down, 10 yards to go for the National Football Conference.
Well, they started back at the 32-yard line. They moved it up to the midfield stripe, and now they've got it down to the 44-yard line of the AFC as the NFC begins to grind it out.
Here they come now, out of the huddle and up to the line. Pat Hayden, and this is his 25th birthday, incidentally. Pat Hayden celebrating his birthday. Here is a pitch to the right side. And nothing on this one as McCutcheon was piled up back there at about the 46-yard line. Mike Barnes coming over to make the tackle. Barnes pulled him down for a loss of 2 yards on the play, so it'll be second and 12 at the 46.
Barnes just caught him standing straight up, moving across this big man, 256 pounds, 6'6" of the Colts. He just blasted him down. For Mike Barnes, this is his first Pro Bowl, and he told me earlier in the week it was a great thrill to be able to play in it.
Slowly they come up to the line once again now. Sammy White to the left side, Drew Pearson to the right side. The running backs are split for Pat Hayden. Pat Hayden soon will be back at the books at Oxford University. He's a Rhodes Scholar. Sets up, chased out of the pocket shortly. Now pops it, and it's incomplete. Trying to hit Drew Pearson, but it is batted incomplete. It was Billy Thompson who moved in front, got a hand on it to deflect it. It's going to be third down and 12 yards to go at the 46-yard line.
Billy Thompson, the great strong safety there of the Denver Broncos. He had 5 interceptions on the year. They picked him as an all-pro this year for great defensive work against the run and against the pass, and he almost stole that one away from Drew Pearson.
So it'll be third down and 12 yards to go. There is no score. 11 minutes, 26 seconds remain to be played in the first quarter of the Pro Bowl here at Tampa Stadium. Running backs are even up with wide receivers left and right for Pat Hayden. Hayden dropping straight back now. Sets, skids a little bit, and is hit just as he turned the ball loose, incomplete. He was hit just as he started that arm forward. The punting unit is coming on now. It was John Dutton who got in there and hit him just as he started the arm for it, an incompletion, as the ball did not reach the intended receiver, and it's going to be fourth down. The punting unit is in, and the punter, John James, who averaged 41.1, tied the NFL record for punts in the season, 105 with the Atlanta Falcons. Mike Haynes has dropped back there along with Billy Whiteshoes. Billy Whiteshoes Johnson has dropped back. He led the NFL in punt returns, had 3 for touchdowns. Billy Whiteshoes did. James gets the snap now. Puts the ball up over to the left side, and he's going to let it hit. It's going into the end zone for a touchback. It'll be put in play first and 10 at the 20. With the score, the NFC nothing, the AFC nothing. There's a timeout on the field. Now this for the Teamsters and GM Trucks.
Are you getting your money's worth these days? If the answer is no, consider what you're missing if you do not belong to the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Best wages guaranteed, no-cost pension, health and welfare protection. That and much more add up to real family security. You can't get more for your money than the Teamsters do. Now you know why. They're the nation's largest labor union. Teamsters, 2.3 million families strong and growing.
Seems like whenever a guy buys a new pickup, he right away tries to get everyone else into one. Well, not me. I'm not going to tell you about how great my GMC is, or how much fun, or comfortable. Nope, not me. I'm not going to tell you about its smooth ride either, or all the fancy available equipment I got. Cruise control, air, stereo, GMC's two-tone paint. Why, I'm not even going to tell you about those sucking like a GMC. Those sucking like a...
Al Wester, Lindsey Nelson, Luke Griffin, our mutual crew here from Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. We're about 4 minutes into the first quarter of the Pro Bowl battle between the NFC and the AFC, and the first time tonight, offensively, the AFC has the ball.
A 46-yard punt into the end zone by James. Gives it to them first and 10 at the 20. Bob Greasy brings them up. Franco Harris and Lydell Mitchell are in that backfield. Franco Harris and Lydell Mitchell with teammates at Penn State. Bob Greasy of Miami. Rolling back, goes out to the right flat. Taken out there by Nat Moore, his favorite receiver. Nat Moore advances to the 23-yard line, out into the right flat. And so they open up with a Bob Greasy to Nat Moore pass play. Brad Van Pelt made the tackle.
Roland Lawrence was up there to help on it. Roland coming, of course, from the left side cornerback. But Brad Van Pelt, the great linebacker of the New York Giants, has everything going for him in size, speed. He's just the ideal temperamental linebacker, just mean and nasty.
Second down, 7 yards to go, and the ball is at the 23-yard line. Greasy has his running back split. Lydell Mitchell, Franco Harris. Gives it to Lydell Mitchell. He tries the middle, gets just across the 25-yard line, just an inch or so across. Picks up 2 yards on the play. It's going to be third down and 5 yards to go. And Harvey Martin was in to make the tackle. Harvey Martin from the Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys.
There's a big boy, a big lad who is just about the best thing in football. They have named him the best defensive football player in the National League this year, and if you watch him play, you can't miss seeing the credentials.
Russ Francis is in that tight end now. Dave Casper's out. Kenny Burrows and a wide receiver to the right side. Bob Greasy waiting for the snap. Running backs are evened up. Contact made before the snap. Penalty markers are thrown. A whistle stops play. So Greasy, who had dropped back, comes to a halt. Russ Francis.
Francis had made the jump. He made the jump off first, Lindsey, and it's going to cost them 5 yards for moving there.
It'll move the ball back to the 20-yard line. Against the AFC, there is no score. On the message board, the Bay Area welcomes Pete Rozelle, the commissioner of the National Football League. Pete Rozelle and the owners, of course, have been in conclave for the last couple of days in this area.
Just before the game, we had Gil Brandt visit us here. He is the great personnel director of the world champion Dallas Cowboys and one of the key men responsible. He and Tex Ram and, of course, their great coach work as a trio of evaluating talent and putting together a championship team.
Wide receivers left and right on a 3rd and 10 for Greasy, and he pumps it over the middle, and it is intercepted at the 38-yard line, deflected and intercepted, and the NFC gets it at the 38. Cliff Harris picks it up. Cliff Harris of the Dallas Cowboys, 1st and 10 for the NFC at the AFC 38.
And Lindsey, that I've got to nominate that as a possibility of being our first Pennzoil Key Play of the Night. We've got to make it a nomination now. Remember, we're looking for the key play of the key player of this football game. and you've just got to say that might be it.
First turnover of the night, so now the blue-clad NFC comes up first and 10. Brought up there by Pat Hayden. The general plan is for Hayden to play the first and third quarters, Hart the second and fourth quarters. That plan can be deviated from, however. Now dropping back, Hayden throws over the middle, and it is taken at the 22-yard line. A completed pass to Drew Pearson, who went high into the air, pulled it down, was hit immediately. First and 10 for the NFC. Tom Casanova made the tackle. He from LSU and the Cincinnati Bengals.
What a circus catch Drew Pearson just made. He's only 6 feet, weighs 183 pounds, caught 48 passes this year for 870 yards, and all-pro if ever there was one.
First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is outside the 22-yard line. Wide receivers left and right. The running backs are well split now for Pat Hayden. Waiting for the snap. There is no score in the ball game. We're in the first quarter. Handed off to Walter Payton. Payton tries. Over left guard, gets up to the 20-yard line. Slanting in. He picked up about 2, maybe 3. Mike Barnes in to make the tackle.
Mike Barnes just recovered quickly. Instead of breaking straight across, instead of putting the pressure on the quarterback, Barnes made the hesitation, read the play, and then came after him. Chuck Knox on the sidelines. I wonder right now what's going through his head. Can he get that ball in? Can he get a touchdown?
Second down and 8 yards to go, and the NFC has the ball at the AFC 20-yard line. Hayden handing it off this time to McCutcheon. McCutcheon tries the right side, but can't go, and he stopped at the 21, a loss of a yard. On the play, Jack Hellman to make the tackle. It's going to be third down and 9 yards to go.
Well, McCutcheon had nowheres to go but right into the arms of Ham, because Ham wasn't fooled a bit by that sweep to the right. A quick sweep out there by McCutcheon, and McCutcheon has great speed. He's played in 5 of these Pro Bowls, so you know he's got the credentials of being a real all-star. But he loses a yard, I believe, Lindsey.
He does. It's third down and 9 yards to go. Wide receivers again left and right. They even up the running backs. Pat Hayden on a third and 9. Waiting for the snap. Dropping back. Sets up and looks. Has time. Pumps it over the middle, and it is incomplete at the 5-yard line. Incomplete to Drew Pearson on a crossing pattern at the 5, and Pearson is slowly getting up. It was Randy Gradishar who was in there to make the stop on him. So it's going to be fourth down now. The ball is spotted at the 21-yard line where it's 4th and 9.
That's one of those wild moments when the ball, the receiver, and the defender, and that was a deep drop by middle linebacker Randy Gradishar, reached the same apex at the same time. Oh, did Gradishar hit Pearson? He spread him out.
Herrera is going to try now a 39-yarder. Efrain Herrera with Charlie Waters holding will attempt the field goal. Hands out, Stutch Waters puts it down. Herrera boots it up, and this one is no good. Wide to the right. No good. It will go over at the line of scrimmage with the score. AFC nothing, NFC nothing. There's a timeout on the field. Now this for Buick Automobiles.
The 1978 Buicks, cars designed to make a whole lot of sense.
A little science.
But along with the innovation and logic, there's all the comfort and luxury people have always loved about Buick.
A little magic.
From the Skyhawk and the amazing new Century and Regal,
A little science.
right up through the trim, light, full-size Buick.
A little magic.
It's the kind of science that gives you the wizardry of smooth, even-firing V6 engines, cars that are trim but roomy, and the kind of magic that makes driving them fun. The 1978 Buicks. See them soon at your Buick dealer.
They surely will astound you. The amazing things you see. The cars they're built so wonderful. How can such things be?
Buick automobiles are equipped with GM-built engines produced by various divisions. See your dealer for details.
Little science.
Efrain Herrera with a 39-yard field goal attempt that went astray. It was wide to the right, and in the wind tonight, you couldn't second-guess him on that. 7:51 remaining in the first quarter. No score. Here comes the AFC at the 20-yard line. Up to the line of scrimmage, and once again, here's Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Al Wester, it's at the 21, and Bob Greasy is still quarterbacking. The white and red-clad AFC is waiting for the snap with his running back, Stephen up. He's dropping straight back to put it up into the air. Pumps it, and it's completed. And it is at the 24-yard line. It was Lydell Mitchell who took it actually up to the 26, was trying to circle back, so the line of scrimmage will be the 24 again to 3, 2nd and 7.
Lindsey, he lost about 3 yards trying to circle back and get some running room there. And the one thing you don't want to let Lydell Mitchell do is get some running room. And here's a fellow who has great hands. He led the National Football Conference this year with 71 pass catches.
Not only that, he rushed for 1,159 yards. A great season for Lydell Mitchell. He and Franco Harris teamed up and dropping back now. It's Greasy. Pumps this one to the right side. Incomplete. Didn't get it to his receiver. So it's an incompletion. He was trying to get it to Nat Moore, who was down on his knees, but it hit a couple of yards in front. It'll be 3rd down and 7 at the 24. Roland Lawrence came in to make the tackle.
He was up there, but the ball was just absolutely too short. There wasn't any real pressure on Greasy there. That ball just must have slipped in his hands because he threw it into the ground about 3-4 yards in front of the receiver, who was down on his knees trying to dig it up.
Monty Jackson was to have started. Monty Jackson of the Rams on the left corner, but he is out with an injury, and so Roland Lawrence moved up, and Alan Ellis of the Chicago Bears was added to the squad. Now Greasy again, dropping back. Takes a look. Steps up, and he goes long up the middle, and it is gathered in. Now Russ Francis. Francis has got it at the 32-yard line. It's 1st and 10. Charlie Waters made the tackle. Russ Francis with the catch. The pass from Bob Greasy. 1st down and 10 yards to go.
The big youngster from Honolulu, Hawaii, and that's his home. He played his college ball in Oregon. He is now in his 3rd year, or just completed his 3rd year with the New England Patriots. Russ Francis, 6'6", 240 pounds. What great speed he had. He got behind Charlie Waters.
Ball is spotted at the 34-yard line, so it's 1st and 10. Kenny Burra goes to the left side. A 42-yard pass play. Out of an I formation this time. And it is Lydell Mitchell to the 30-yard line. He picked up 4 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 6 at the 30-yard line. Isaiah Robertson coming in to make the tackle. So far, Coach Ted Marchibroda of the AFC has been substituting freely. Chuck Knox of the NFC has stayed with the same unit that started the ball game for the most part. 6 minutes, 6 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter. Kenny Burra going wide to the left side now, as Bob Greasy of Miami and Purdue brings them up. Still got Lydell Mitchell and Franco Harris, and there's the setbacks. Mitchell is left and Harris is right in this set. Dropping back is Greasy. Takes a look. Pumps this one, and it is complete. It is taken by Nat Moore, his favorite receiver, at the 16-yard line. Charlie Waters made the tackle. He from Clemson and the Dallas Cowboys.
Lawrence was there with him. Lawrence came over to help Waters on that, but that was a very, very quick turn in there. Nat Moore right over the middle. He was looking for it. I don't think Greasy took more than a 3 count on that and then rifled the football. No pressure on him, but it was just one of those quick ones where he found some daylight in the seam and he popped the ball in there to Moore.
1st down and 10 yards to go. The AFC at the NFC 16-yard line. There is no score in the ball game. Wide receivers left and right for Bob Greasy. Gives this one to Franco Harris. He tries the left side, takes a wrinkle, gets inside the 15, goes down to the 11-yard line. Franco Harris picked up 5 yards on the play to make it 2nd down and 5 yards to go. Isaiah Robertson again coming in to make the tackle, along with Harvey Martin. So the AFC is driving.
Martin is a wonder to watch. This big fella can put tremendous pressure on you. He had over 20 sacks this year, 23, I believe, in the regular season with the Dallas Cowboys. He was one of the keys to the great defensive action of the Cowboys, even to the Super Bowl game.
Again, the AFC comes up to the line. 2nd down and 5. They have the ball just outside the 11-yard line. Bob Greasy has the football. They try a running draw, and it is taken by Lydell Mitchell, and he gets down just outside the 6-yard line before Isaiah Robertson comes in to make the tackle. On a draw play, moved it just outside the 6. Bill Berge also in there on the tackle.
Berge and Robertson right there on the tackle, but can you believe it? Going right up the middle inside of the 20-yard line on the draw. They caught the NFC napping just for a moment. Robertson had to compensate very quickly for it now, and they've got a third down and short yardage. You could expect, I guess, the NFC to do a little blitzing right here, couldn't you?
They can blitz on 3rd and short. It's 3rd and 1 at the 7-yard line. Running backs are closely aligned, close alignment, and it is taken over to the right side by Lydell Mitchell, and he is piled up at the 6-yard line. Penalty marker on the play. There's a penalty marker to be checked out. Randy White was in there on the tackle. Offsides is the preliminary signal, and it's against the NFC, which will make it a 1st down and goal to go. It'll be a 1st and goal on the offsides as the AFC moves ever closer to the NFC goal line with 3 minutes, 44 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter.
Lindsey, as I said earlier in the pregame show, when you take a look at the lineup, the offensive alignment
offsides
for this football team from the AFC, you just got to believe that they are the favorites. They've got all pros. Actually, at the front line, they have 5 all pros. In the backfield, they have 3 All-Pros. That's a total of 8 All-Pro football players out of 11 starters offensively.
First down and goal to go inside the 4-yard line. Tight alignment now. Wide receiver to the right side only. Franco Harris, Lydell Mitchell for Bob Greasy. Here's Franco Harris trying the left side, but he can't go. He's pulled down for a loss on the play. Roger Worley from the St. Louis Cardinals and Missouri came in to make the tackle.
Looked a great deal like Larry Wilson, didn't he? When he came across there, and then all of a sudden the runner is facing the fact that there's nobody to block for him, he's got to go right into his arms. And Worley, with maybe a little more speed than Larry Wilson, who is going to be inducted into the National Football League Hall of Fame this year, and who will be one of the 5 members inducted, and all 5 will be on our halftime show, so don't miss it. Well, he looked a great deal like Roger Worley on that tackle.
Second down and goal to go, and the ball is out at the 8-yard line now. The running backs are split for Bob Greasy. Wide receivers left and right in this alignment. Stopping back is Greasy, and he pumps it into the end zone. Incomplete, a diving attempt in the end zone. Kenny Burrow tried the diving shoestring. It's incomplete. An incompleted pass. We pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
This is KCBS San Francisco News Radio. It's 6:30.
An incompleted pass, and there was Kenny Burroughs, the great Houston Oilers star, making the dive. He was down on his knees. If he could have just held the football a little longer. The ball popped in, they popped right back out. He never had it in his possession in the end zone there. He scurried for it, but he did not have it.
Third down and goal to go. The ball is inside the 8-yard line. Wide receivers left and right, running back split for Greasy now. Greasy going to a high count. Contact made on the line of scrimmage before the snap. Penalty markers. The pass play incomplete at the goal line, so there is a penalty marker to be checked out.
Harvey Martin is the man that made the jump. Harvey jumped off sides, and he knew it. He jumped right back, and he started banging his hand in the air because he knew he'd made the mistake. Well, there was nothing for Bob Greasy to do but use that down because he had the opportunity offensively to do it. He put the ball into the end zone, incomplete, but it's coming back, and it'll be yardage. Stepped off again against the NFC.
The option is being exercised by the AFC, but they will accept the penalty, of course, which will mean the down remains the same. Ball moves inside the 5-yard line, and Freddie Wyatt, the referee, places it down at the 4. It'll be third down and goal to go with the ball at the 4-yard line.
Side, number 79.
Number 79, Harvey Martin of the Dallas Cowboys and of East Texas State. Offsides on the play. Still no score. We have 2 minutes, 52 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter. Tampa, Florida. Game time temperature about 64 degrees. Francis, the tight end of the ball game. Kenny Burrow goes to the left side. Lydell Mitchell from the left set. Franco Harris on the right set. Nat Moore is wide to the right side. Bob Greasy is the quarterback. Greasy now fakes the handoff, sets up and throws. Batted incomplete. Trying to get it to Moore out there. And Russ Francis also in the end zone. Larry Brooks got a hand on it. Batted it incomplete. And here comes the field goal unit. Tony Linhart is coming in to attempt a field goal for the American Football Conference. There is no score.
2 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter. No score, as Lindsey pointed out, but about midway of the first quarter, the NFC attempted a 39-yard field goal. Efrain Herrera put it up into the air, but it was wide to the right. And now the AFC gets a chance with a short chip shot. The ball will be placed at about the 11-yard line, and well, Lindsey?
A 21-yarder Ray Guy is holding for Tony Linhart. Ray Guy puts it down. Linhart puts it up. The 21-yarder is good. There's a timeout with the score. The AFC 3, the NFC nothing, and now this word.
Hello, I'm Bill Musey, owner of Musey Buick Opel in Menlo Park, and it seems there's good news everywhere. The heavy rains have helped the drought, the economic barometers look great, and people in general are very optimistic. And at Musey Buick Opel, we are very optimistic. The new Buicks are selling exceptionally well, and we still have a few 77s left, like a brand new Skyhawk for just $39.95, and a good selection of other models to choose from. But the most exciting news is our new 78 Regal. Wow, what a car. It's got everything an automobile could offer, and just for a limited time, you can have this great car for just $99 a month. Can you imagine? Just $99 a month for a new 78 Regal. Here's how it works. $99 a month on a 36-month special lease. The capitalized cost is just $54.33, and a realistic residual value of $29.89, and only $327 cash needed. What a lease.
Shop around and compare, then visit Musey Buick just 2 blocks north of Stanford Shopping Center on El Camino Real in Menlo Park.
79 yards in 12 plays, 3 minutes and 56 seconds. The AFC held that football as they moved it down the field to put the first score on the boards tonight. It's 3-0 in favor of the American Football Conference over the National Football Conference. Now the ball has been delivered out there. And for the AFC, Tony Linhart, who just booted that 21-yard field goal, when the offensive thrust of the AFC bogged down there at the 10-yard line now, he tees it up at the 35. He'll put it in the air. And, Lindsey, it's a little nippy night down here in Florida, but it's a beautiful night for football.
Beautiful football night for the fans and for the players. And dropping back deep to receive the kickoff, Eddie Brown, along with Walter Payton. Tony Linhart has teed it up on the 35-yard line. Referee Freddie Wyatt with the whistle. Here comes Linhart. The sidewinder boots it up. And it is taken by Brown at the 2-yard line. He's to the 5, cuts right to the 10 to the 15. Stutter step up to the 20 to the 24-yard line. He's pushed back from the 24. Eddie Brown, the man whom the Washington Redskins coach George Allen says never makes a mistake. Lewis Wright in to make the tackle, and so it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line for the NFC.
Billy Thompson also up to help on that tackle, and now the AFC's defensive unit goes to work, and the NFC will try to offensively get some action.
It's McCutcheon and Walter Payton coming up in an I formation. McCutcheon ahead of Payton. Pat Hayden's the quarterback, wide receivers left and right. 1st down and 10 yards to go. It is Walter Payton off the left side. Got up across the 25 to the 26. Picked up only 2 yards on the play. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Randy Gradishar came in to make the tackle. Payton led the NFC, of course, led the NFL in rushing with 1,852 yards. Walter Payton averaged 5.5 yards per carry throughout the season for the Chicago Bears. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. The ball is at the 26. Wide receivers left and right. Running backs are even up this time for Pat Hayden. Hayden threw for 11 touchdowns during the season. He of the Los Angeles Rams gives it out to Walter Payton, tries the right side. Cuts up now to the 30-yard line and is stopped at the 30. Has a penalty marker thrown. Penalty marker is thrown. It was Lamar Parrish and Billy Thompson on the tackle. Penalty is against the NFC. So that will nullify Payton's game, bring the ball back, and the penalty will be assessed against the National Football Conference.
Just proves one thing. Never guess or never think you see what you see. For instance, over there, I thought that that flag had gone against Billy Thompson for tackling the face mask. Instead, the penalty is being moved off, stepped off against the NFC. And let's wait for the official signal now, Lindsey, and find out what it was for.
Illegal use of the hands, number 89, offense.
Illegal use of the hands on Billy Joe Dupree. So that moves the ball back into NFC territory. It's 2nd down, 18 yards to go. The ball is back at the 16-yard line. 2nd and 18 at the 16. Running backs are evened up, wide receivers left and right for Pat Hayden. Hayden dropping back to set it up again. Pumps this one, and it is complete. Taken by Drew Pearson. He goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Drew Pearson gathered it in at the 33. Billy Thompson and Robert Brazil covering on the play. It's going to be up near 1st down yardage. As they're getting it properly aligned, it looks as though Drew Pearson went out of bounds about a half-yard short. A half-yard short, so it's going to be 3rd down and about, call it a yard to go, with the ball at the 33.
Pearson is going out, and the other tight end is coming in now. You'll have the double tight end alignment in there. Gene Fugit is coming in, so they'll try to jam it for that half yard. The NFC up at their own 33.
McCutcheon and Walter Payton are the setbacks. McCutcheon of the Rams and Payton of the Chicago Bears. Payton's got it. He drives in there for the 1st and 10. Got just to the 35-yard line, but that's enough for a 1st down and 10 yards to go at the 35. It was Billy Thompson up from his strong safety to make the tackle for the AFC.
Billy Thompson with great speed. An all-pro and a solid ball player. Played his college football at Maryland State, but 9 years in the National Football League. He had his greatest year this year, of course, with Denver, finally getting in to the Super Bowl.
Sammy White comes to a wide left now. 1st down and 10 yards to go at the 35-yard line. Pat Hayden handing it off, and penalty markers are thrown. Penalty markers wrapped up there as Randy Gradishaw came in to make the tackle. Penalty is against the NFC.
Larry McCutcheon trying to go up the middle there. He spun off one of the tackles, Mike Barnes' shoulder, but Randy Gradishaw is so quick there in the middle. Is a middle linebacker.
Start, number 72, offense. First.
Illegal procedure cost them 5. It'll leave first down and 15 yards to go as the ball goes back to the 30-yard line.
You know, Lindsey, it's awfully hard to get an offense going when you sputter like this. You make 5 yards, you back up 5. You make 10, you back up 5 more.
The AFC is leading. The AFC is leading by a score of 3-0 late in the first quarter. Pat Hayden gets the snap now. Fakes the handoff, sets up to throw. And he pumps it, and it is at the 44-yard line, completed there at the 44. Sammy White had it, was hit immediately, and it's going to be marked out of bounds at the 44-yard line. It was Jack Ham over there on the tackle. Again, short of first down yardage.
One thing about an all-star game like this, Lindsey, you're going to see some great catches. You're going to see some men. You're going to say to yourself, how could a fella get that wide open? Well, you got to remember one thing. They're not only great defensive players here, but there's some super offensive players here with tremendous speed.
What you see in the Pro Bowl are individual performances, usually outstanding individual performances by great stars. These are the greatest players in the game today. Here's a handoff, and again up to the 49-yard line. It was taken by Walter Payton, moved it to the 49 for the 1st and 10. So the NFC moves it up near midfield. They picked up the first down. Billy Thompson coming in again to make the tackle. We have 9 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter, so that will have been the final play of this period. It is wound down to 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that is it. That's the end of the first quarter with the score, AFC 3, NFC nothing. Now this for Pennzoil and GM Trucks.
Making a long, sustained drive down a football field is tough, so it has a lot in common with the driving you do every day. You quarterback your car through a lot of tight situations, and so does the man with the football. But he has protection when he's making his way down through field traffic, and the engine in your car needs protection too. Extra protection. Because today's tough driving conditions can cause motor oil to lose its ability to protect sooner than you may expect. And that's why Pennzoil developed PZL. Pennzoil PZL is an extended life motor oil, an exclusive formula of synthetic and natural oils. PZL is so good, it protects for double the miles of the longest oil change recommendation by car manufacturers. So get the extra protection of PZL for your engine. Look for the big PZL letters on the familiar yellow Pennzoil can. Pennzoil PZL, the motor oil that gives you extra safety because it protects for double the miles.
They just joined a new club, bought a GMC pickup with a diesel engine. Not one of those 18-wheelers, but a GMC pickup. One that runs on diesel fuel, not gas. And because it's a V8 diesel, it's got plenty of pep. It's built by another GM division. Oh, I feel quite the trucker now. Yeah, just the other day, an 18-wheeler gave me a honk of his air horn. It's sort of a welcome to the club, I guess.
Goes trucking like a GMC. Goes trucking like a...
The All-Stars of the American Football Conference lead in the Pro Bowl here in Tampa tonight after 1 quarter of play by a score of 3-0. The NFC at midfield moving the football. And here again, Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Al Wester, they have it 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. The blue-clad NFC coached by Chuck Knox of the Los Angeles Rams. Dropping back is Pat Hayden, and he throws to the left side, and it is across the sideline marker and complete to Sammy White. Sammy White on the catch. It is across the marker, however. 2nd and 10 at the 49-yard line. Tom Jackson covering on the play. Hayden is 4 for 7 so far, 54 yards. His longest gain, 17. Greasy is 4 for 8. Had 1 intercepted, 62 yards. And his longest gainer was 42. We're early in the second quarter. 2nd down and 10 yards to go at the 49-yard line. McCutcheon and Payton are still the setbacks for the NFC. And this is McCutcheon trying the left side. He breaks the tackle, goes from the 45 to the 40, turns it on, goes to the 35, and to the 33-yard line, 1st and 10 for the NFC. Lawrence McCutcheon turning it on for the NFC. Finally brought down by Tony Green from his strong safety.
Tony Green had to come up and make that stop, and I'll tell you something, great second effort. McCutcheon was stopped up there at the line, broke the tackle, kept right on going, and moved some 20 yards down the field. He's moved it down to the 33-yard line, where it's 1st down for the NFC.
Again, the running backs are evened up. It is Walter Payton to the left side, and McCutcheon to the right side. Contact made at the line of scrimmage, and here comes Walter Payton. However, the penalty markers are down, so the whistle stops play. Louis Kelcher, I think it was, who came across, before the snap, and so the penalty will be assessed against the American Football Conference.
Those yellow flags down on the turf down there, and you can hear the reaction of the fans. I guess in every stadium, everywhere's in football. When they see the flags fly, they feel a little hurt. Something might have been taken away from their favorite hero, and particularly here tonight, because you have 55,000 fans here, and you've got a lot of great stars for them to pick as a hero.
Confirmed, it was Lou Kelcher of San Diego and Southern Methodist University, making it first down and 5 yards to go at the 29-yard line. Dropping straight back now is Pat Hayden. And he's going long down to the 5-yard line. Incomplete inside the 5-yard line, but a penalty marker is thrown there. It was Drew Pearson who went up, and it was Lamar Parrish who went up with him. We have an interference call inside the 5-yard line. The flag is dropped.
Going to be a lot of argument about that down there. I see Tony Green has already moved over there. Louis Wright, the great cornerback of the Denver Broncos, came over, along with Tony, who plays with the Buffalo Bills, to talk about Lamar Parrish making the tackle. Lamar really stuck Pearson as he went into reaching for the football, but from here, who can say? They went up about the same time. Those close plays, it depends on the gentleman down there on the turf, and the officials do a great job.
They spotted at the 4-yard line, first down and goal to go a little inside the 4. McCutcheon and Payton, that's McCutcheon going to the left side, wants to cut back. Gets to the 3, and that's all. He's racked up at the 3-yard line by Jack Lambert from the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be second down and goal to go, and the ball is at the 3-yard line.
Lambert doing a tremendous job. Two of the players on the field tonight, New England tight end Russ Francis and Los Angeles running back Larry McCutcheon, will be part of the National Football League group making their annual USO Department of Defense tour next month. It's the 13th straight season that NFL players will make their tour.
Second down and goal to go at the 3-yard line. The running backs are well split this time. McCutcheon to the right side, Walter Payton to the left side for Pat Hayden. The AFC is leading by a score of 3-0. Hayden now rolls and sets, looks back and throws into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Right at the flag in the left corner, an incompletion will make it third down and goal to go at the 3-yard line. It was intended for Billy Joe Dupree, his tight end. He had sent Payton out there, shallow in the end zone, and he'd sent the tight end deep. Tony Green was covering and deflected the ball incomplete. Third and goal at the 3-yard line.
That Hayden handles it well back there at the quarterback spot. He took the snap, he dropped back, he turned his back almost. He looked to the right, he faked to the right completely. Then he turned, then he threw into the left corner pocket, trying to force the football high to big Billy Joe Dupree.
Here they come up to the line once again now. It's McCutcheon right and Walter Payton left. Third down and goal to go at the 3-yard line. Hayden stumbles as he comes back, gets up with no contact made. He's rolling to the left side, back at the 20, 25. Now stops and he throws it up the middle, and it is intercepted. Jack Ham has the football at the 3-yard line for the AFC. First and 10 at the 3 on the interception with the score AFC 3, NFC nothing. There's a timeout on the field now. This for Sears and Budweiser.
Hi there, gang. Uncle Ken here.
Hi, Ken.
Heard about Sears preseason sale on Kenmore room air conditioners?
Air conditioners?
Right. 17 models in most sizes. Buy now and save $20 to $70.
$70?
Right. And Sears will hold your Kenmore on layaway until April 15th for as little as $5.
$5?
Right. Save $20 to $70 now at Sears preseason air conditioner sale. It's Kenmore.
Solid as Sears.
Right.
Yay! When do you think Budweiser?
Hey, just as soon as me and my new skis reach the bottom of the beginner's slope.
Meet you at the bottom, pal, with a Bud. A great tasting way to top off your first day on the slopes, or anything else for that matter.
When you say Budweiser,
Geronimo!
you say
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Beautiful Tampa Stadium is the site of the Pro Bowl game. The NFC All-Stars, the American Football Conference All-Stars. We're in the second quarter. The AFC is leading 3-0 with a 21-yard field goal off the toe of Tony Linhart, setting the fashion. All right, an interception down there moments ago by Jack Ham. The AFC takes over the football. They have it at their own 3-yard line, and they have gathered for a little discussion in the conference. The players, the 11 of them, back in their own end zone. The NFC now waiting to try and take that football back. And what a scramble we had there as Pat Hayden fell when he had the snap of the football, turned around, dropped back 30 yards, put it in the air. It was intercepted at the 3. Lindsey?
First down and 10 yards to go as the AFC comes up to the line now. Wide receivers to the left and right. And here is a handoff. It is handed from Kenny Stabler And taken up to the 5-6-yard line. It was Greg Pruitt. Greg Pruitt carried the football. Kenny Stabler's in there at quarterback now as we are in the second quarter of the ball game. So it's going to be second out and 7 yards to go with the ball out there at the 6-yard line. Wide receivers to the left. Pruitt. Mark Van Egan from the Oakland Raiders, who led the AFC in rushing for this year. And now a hole, and Pruitt bursts through there, gets across the 15-yard line. Make it Van Egan, and he's out to the 15-yard line. Mark Van Egan carried, and it's going to be a 1st and 10. Cliff Harris up to make the tackle. Van Egan rushed for 1,273 yards. He is from Colgate and the Oakland Raiders. 12 minutes, 18 seconds remaining to be played. What are they playing for? Well, the winners get $5,000 each. The losers gets $2,500 each. So they're playing for $2,500 a man. In addition to the pride that goes with being in the exhibition hall of pro football, the Pro Bowl. Handed off to Greg Pruitt, and Pruitt goes to the right side, gets up to the 18-yard line, picked up 3 yards. It's going to be second down and 7 yards to go for the AFC, leading by a score of 3-0. Matt Blair came in to make the last tackle.
Matt Blair coming up very strong there. When you think of the 6 linebackers they've got, Matt Blair, Isaiah Robertson, Jeff Seaman, Bill Berge, and, well, Brad Dan Pelt, 5 linebackers, really, that the NFC has. You have great pursuit and great range. These fellows can cover.
Stabler brings him up again. Wide receivers to the left and right. The left-hander keeps the ball on the ground. Van Egan carries over the right tackle, gets across to the 21-yard line. Mark Van Egan picks up 3. Well, it'll be 3rd down and 4 yards to go. Randy White coming in to make the tackle. Randy White, the great defensive lineman from the Dallas Cowboys, played his college football at the University of Maryland.
White is one of those unusual players that likes the number 55, and I always think that anything in the 50s belongs to the linebackers.
Well, they thought for a long time he was going to be a linebacker. He found a home as a down lineman. 3rd down and 4 yards to go. 11 minutes remaining to be played in the first half in Tampa, Florida. Stabler has his running backs well split, so he drops back. Now puts it up, whips it, and it is completed. He hit Mark Van Egan from the Oakland Raiders, and he stopped at the 25-yard line by Isaiah Robertson. Going to be spotted just across the 25.
Kenny Stabler was looking through a hole there as the big line rush came in there. He just looked in through a hole and fired that ball over an arm and a shoulder that was coming after him. And what a passer this big left-hander from Alabama is. For the Oakland Raiders, they call him the Knife because he can slice you up the way he throws the football.
First down and 10 yards to go. The ball is at the 26-yard line. The AFC leading by 3 points. Stabler dropping back again, the left-hander looks, and he puts it up long. Down the left sideline, it is incomplete. He was hoping that Cliff Branch could run under it. Their teammates at Oakland. Incompletion. Roger Worley covering defensively on the play will make it 2nd and 10 at the 26.
Well, that's a combination for you. Kenny Stabler throwing and Cliff Branch catching, and did they do it well this year? Branch caught 33 passes for 6 touchdowns, has super speed, but the little receiver just, well, that pass actually was just outside of the reach of anybody in the playing field. It went out of bounds.
So now, clad in white and red, the AFC comes up to the line once again on a 2nd and 10. Wide receivers are left and right. Kenny Stabler bending in now to take the snap. Stabler handing it off, and is taken by Mark Van Egan. He gets across the 30-yard line. Van Egan from the Oakland Raiders, stopped by Cliff Harris. It's at the 32-yard line for a gain of 6 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Some of that booing coming from down in the end zone down there. Fans feel that maybe Van Egan was scrambling for a little bit of that yardage, that he might have went down 3 yards back and scrambled a little bit forward to pick up an additional yard or 2.
It's an enthusiastic football crowd here in Tampa tonight. They're enjoying every minute of the Pro Bowl. 3rd down and 4 yards to go. Kenny Stabler dropping back, sets up again. Now looks, pumps it up the middle, and it's complete across the 45-yard line. So that's going to be enough. That was Dave Casper, the All-American at Notre Dame, who became an All-Pro with the Oakland Raiders, and the ball is at the 48-yard line. It was Claude Humphrey who came in to make the tackle.
Great pressure put on down there. Stabler got that ball loose just, well, he waited till the last split second to let the ball go. And Dave Casper, the great All-Pro from Notre Dame, made the grab up near the 50-yard line. A big first down play as the AFC is really moving it now.
AFC is leading in this ball game by 3 points on a field goal. They have the ball up near midfield now. They leave it on the ground to Van Egan. Van Egan across the 50 down to the 48-yard line. Mark Van Egan picked up 4 yards on the play. So it'll be 2nd down and 6 yards to go. The AFC, coached by Ted Marchibroda and his staff from Baltimore, Bill Berge, along with Cleveland Elam, made the tackle.
You know, when you take a look at Berge, Van Pelt, and Isaiah Robertson, you've got three of the best in the business at linebacker. Running against these fellas is a very, very difficult thing, particularly Berge. Berge is about as tough a defensive man to run against, I guess, there is in pro football today.
I think he is. It's second down and 6 yards to go. The running backs are in an I formation. Here's a quick pitch now, and it's taken to the left side by Greg Pruitt. He of the Cleveland Browns inside the 40, and he's knocked out of bounds by Bill Berge once again. It's going to be another 1st and 10 as the AFC has driven into NFC territory. 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line.
Berge says that if it ain't contact, it ain't football.
One of the great days for the Philadelphia Eagles the day they got Berge from Cincinnati.
That's right, traded in 1974 after he'd played over there with Cincinnati so well for so many years. And here's a guy that's not only tough on the run, but he has 21 career interceptions also.
Cliff Branch goes to the right side. Lynn Swan comes to the left side. Running backs in an I formation for Stabler, 1st and 10. At the 39-yard line of the NFC, Stabler drops back the left-hander, puts it. And it is completed to Branch. Branch is inside the 25 at the 23-yard line. 1st and 10 for the NFC at the AFC 23. Stabler to Branch, the Oakland combination.
Alan Ellis is the man who made the tackle there on him, although Cliff Harris was coming over there to try and to give him a helping hand. Harris was halfway there and came on to give him a helping hand after Alan Ellis had made the lock on him. Ellis is the ball player, a young man, a cornerback from the Chicago Bears, who replaced the injured Monty Jackson, and it's a shame Monty did not have an opportunity to play.
1st down and 10 yards to go. The ball is spotted squarely on the 22-yard line. Branch goes to the right side, Lynn Swan to the left side. The running backs are evened up. Stabler keeps it on the ground this time. A gain of about a yard on the play is all. Pruitt picked up about a yard on the play to make it 2nd down and 9 at the 21-yard line. Clock is running with 7 minutes, 11 seconds. Claude Humphrey and Jack Youngblood coming in to make the tackle.
I tell you don't run too far there. Now, there had to be a mix-up on the plays there, Lindsey, because the right guard made the pull and looked as though he were leading a sweep to the left-hand side. He was not working on a trap. So he was coming to the left-hand side, and the runner ran behind him straight into the line.
You get a lot of outstanding individual performance. It's small wonder that there aren't a great many more mix-ups. Dropping back is Stabler, and Stabler pumps this one, and it's completed the 10-yard line to Swan. Lynn Swan, and it's a 1st down and goal. They go inside the 10-yard line. Roger Worley made the stop.
Roger Worley made the stop, all right, but Swan just scooted into the middle there. And there was no hesitation as Stabler took that little stutter step, that 1-2 pump and throw, and he fired it. He drilled it in there. I tell you, I wonder sometimes how these young men who are not really big, when you take a look at Swan, he's 6 feet, 180 pounds, can hold on to the football the way Stabler can throw it. He can throw it through a wall.
1st down and goal. They go just inside the 10-yard line. The running backs are split. Their wide receivers left and right. Stabler now waiting for the snap. He's got the football. He's dropping back. Stabler takes a look. Pumps it into the end zone. Touchdown! Taken by Branch. Cliff Branch. Cliff Branch again, the Oakland combination for 10 yards and a touchdown. And the AFC has the first touchdown of the night.
Berge, Robertson, and Worley were in there in a trio, in a triangle back there, trying to make coverage on Cliff Branch. And there, just mark that one down now as a possible Pennzoil key play of the night. The touchdown that sends them out in front by a score of 9-0. The AFC will try for the point after.
Ray Guy is under hole now for Tony Lenhart, who will attempt. He is a sidewinder from Austria Tech and for the Baltimore Colts. Ray Guy hand outstretched, waits, puts it down. Tony Lenhart boots it up. It's good. With the score, the AFC 10, the NFC nothing. There's a timeout on the field, and now this for GM Trucks.
Well, I'm sitting tall and I'm riding proud with this road in front of me. 'Cause there's nothing like this truck of mine to set me flying free. Yeah, there's nothing like the feeling those wheels ride on me. Nothing goes trucking like a GMC. Now you can spend your money on a sweet young honey, women, gold and fancy things. But the top of the line of this truck of mine and the pleasure that it brings. Yeah, there's nothing like the feeling, and it's all I'll ever need. Nothing goes trucking like a GMC. I said there's nothing like the feeling, and those wheels ride on me. Nothing goes trucking like a GMC. Nothing goes trucking like a GMC.
97 yards, 14 plays. That's almost the whole field. 7 minutes and 12 seconds of possession time for the AFC as they control the football and marched almost the entire field to get the touchdown. It came a 10-yard pass from Kenny Stabler to Cliff Branch. And now the AFC set to kick off, leading 10-0.
Tony Leonard puts it up. Eddie Brown is deep, along with Walter Payton. Brown chases, overtakes it at the 3-yard line near the left sideline. Cuts back to the 10 to the 15. Legs turning, he goes to the 20-yard line, and that is where they'll start. First and 10 at the 20-yard line. Tom Jackson made the tackle. Eddie Brown went far over to the left, took that ball just inches inside the sideline marker. We pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
KCBS San Francisco, News Radio 74.
You know, Lindsey, we were talking about the representatives on this team. On the NFC squad, there are 10 Los Angeles Rams, 8 Dallas Cowboys, 5 from the Cardinals. The NFC in possession, they have the ball, and once again, Lindsey Nelson.
First down and 10 yards to go, just inside the 20-yard line. Out of an I formation, Jim Hart is handing it off, and it's taken by Terry Metcalf. And Metcalf breaks one tackle, but can't get to the line of scrimmage. He is stopped at the 19-yard line. Jim Hart, the quarterback, Terry Metcalf, his teammate from the St. Louis Cardinals, stopped by Jack Lambert of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Lambert covering well across the way there, and the big man playing behind Randy Gradishaw tonight. He is as good a football player as you want in that middle linebacker spot. Playing in his 3rd Pro Bowl, 4 years in professional football. Lambert now in his 3rd Pro Bowl here tonight.
Second down, 11 yards to go. Chuck Foreman is in there. Foreman and Metcalf for the setbacks. Wide receivers left and right for Jim Hart. The NFC has been unable to get untracked here tonight to hang it off to Metcalf. He tries the right side. Now tries to cut back and can't get to the line of scrimmage. Stopped about a foot short of the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain at the 19 as it was Louis Wright, along with John Dutton, who brought him down at the 19-yard line, making it 3rd down, 11 yards to go.
Big John Dutton, nobody could contain him. He just blasted through there. He broke the play. He broke up the effort of the runner, and it was Louis Wright, who came on to make the tackle, the Denver cornerback.
We have 4 minutes, 34 seconds remaining to be played in the first half, and the AFC is leading by a score of 10-0. Chuck Foreman, Terry Metcalf, still the setbacks. Wide receivers left and right for Jim Hart. He of the St. Louis Cardinals, who joined the squad when Roger Staubach came up with an injured finger, could not play. Dropping back is right. There's a penalty marker on the play. Whistle stop play. There was movement before the snap. And so there is a penalty inflicted here.
Harold Jackson and Mel Gray both had broken out of the blocks as quickly as they could. Gray across the way was already 20 yards downfield. He was really cruising there. He intended to go long on it, and I just believe that the NFC was going with a long one.
A procedure penalty cost them 5 yards, moving it back to the 14, making it 3rd down and 16 yards to go. 3rd and 16 for the NFC. 4 minutes, 17 seconds remaining to be played. And the first half, Jim Hart, the quarterback. Running backs are split. Hart's waiting for the snap now, going to a high count. Penalty marker again, movement before the snap again. Movement before the snap once again. Looked like Ed White, the guard, who straightened up to pull, and it is against the NFC once again.
That's exactly right, Lindsey. From the 3-point stance, Ed White had popped up. He popped his shoulders up there very quickly, and it's going to cost them 5 more yards.
Number 62, offense, 3rd down.
Confirmed, number 62, Ed White from Minnesota and the University of California. That moves it back to the 9 and makes it 3rd down and 21 yards to go.
The NFC back in their own end zone, and they're backing up now instead of moving that football forward. 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining until halftime.
Foreman and Metcalf are the setbacks now. It is 3rd down and 21 yards to go. Jim Hart still quarterbacking the NFC. Drops back. He's at his own goal line now. Throws it over the middle, and it's complete to the 15-yard line, and it passed out to the 20-yard line. Taken out there by Gene Fugit. Gene Fugit, the receiver who got it out to the 20-yard line, not nearly enough for the first. So the punting unit comes on now for the NFC, led out by John James of the Atlanta Falcons and the University of Florida. He is perennially one of the top punters in the game of football. Mike Haynes is dropping back along with Billy White, used to receive the punt. Mike Haynes, who came here to practice, Friday went to Tempe, Arizona, was married, and then returned to practice and is in the ball game tonight. James is standing back at the 6-yard line, waiting for the snap. Gets it now. Puts it up, a high trajectory punt. Fair catch signal goes up, and it is made at the 45-yard line. They'll start 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. It was Haynes who made the catch. There's a timeout with a score AFC 10, NFC nothing, and now this word.
Last year, Taylor Caldwell's great novel, Testimony of Two Men, came to television. It got rave notices. Tonight at 8, you can rave about it again. Testimony of Two Men, tonight at 8 on Channel 2, is a raging novel of love, power, and murderous greed.
This is the way a wedding night ought to be.
Testimony of Two Men, Part 1, stars David Birney, Barbara Parkins, Steve Forrest, Ralph Bellamy, Theodore Bikel, J.D. Cannon, Ray Milland, and William Shatner. If you missed Testimony of Two Men, don't miss it again. Then at 7:30 tomorrow night on Channel 2.
The greatest spy in history, gentlemen. The true, one and only, original James Bond.
Peter Sellers, Ursula Andress, David Niven, Orson Welles, and Woody Allen star in Casino Royale.
We'll run amok. If you're too tired, we'll walk amok.
Tonight at 8, Testimony of Two Men. Tomorrow night at 7:30, Casino Royale. Get the best of it on Channel 2.
3 minutes and 22 seconds remain in the first half here at the Pro Bowl in Tampa, Florida. With the score, the AFC 10, the NFC nothing. Kenny Stabler now will try to put that ball back into play again as the AFC takes over after a punt at their own 45-yard line. Great field position. The last time, Stabler led them 97 yards to score. 5 of 6 completions, 58 yards, 1 touchdown. Stabler at the helms, and here comes the AFC up to the line of scrimmage.
A punt by James was 35. There was no return. 1st and 10 now for the AFC at their own 45-yard line. Mark Van Egan has the football. He's across the 50 and up the middle of the 46-yard line. Van Egan of Colgate and the Oakland Raiders and Jack Youngblood coming to make the tackle at the 46-yard line. But it's going to be a yard short of a first, 2nd and 1.
Van Egan, what a football player he is. The 3rd Raider to top 1,000 yards in a year and went on to build him a big year this year, 1,273 yards on the season. From Colgate, a fantastic runner.
Cliff Branch comes to the left side. Nat Moore goes to the right side. 2nd down and a yard to go. Here's a handoff taken by Greg Pruitt. Pruitt struggles and just got, I think, the first down as he was brought down at the 45. Ken Houston brought him down, but I think he got the first.
I may be right, Lindsey. I think he did.
He was struggling to get across the 45-yard line. The Pro Bowl, of course, was recently restructured. This is the first year that players were selected by a combined vote of players and coaches. Players were not allowed to vote for players of their own team, but they have taken on a special pride in being here this year because they were selected by their contemporaries. 1st and 10 now at the 45-yard line. Kenny Stabler brings them up once again. He split the running backs. He's a left-hander, as you know. Stabler drops back, short drop, pumps it out to Branch. Branch has it to 39, but that's all. He is pushed back, and it'll be spotted near the 40-yard line. Again, a 5 on the play. Roger Worley in to make the tackle. With the score, the AFC 10, the NFC nothing. The 2-minute warning. There's a timeout on the field. Now this for the Teamsters and General Electric.
$20 doesn't go very far anymore, not unless you're a member of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Teamsters are the world's largest union, and they got that way by providing benefits that money can't even buy. For membership dues are about $20 on average. They mean best wages, health protection, family and retirement security, and other benefits. Teamsters are getting their money's worth for 2.3 million families strong and growing. The Teamsters, a part of the American life.
What's all the buzzing about? Now, through March 11th, there's a great $5 rebate on GE's battery-operated smoke alarm. You heard it. General Electric will send you $5 when you buy their battery-operated smoke alarm. It's something that every home should have. So pick up one or as many as you need. It's a great gift idea, too. But hurry, offer ends March 11th and time is running out. The GE battery-operated smoke alarm $5 rebate. It's news that's worth buzzing about.
Moving into our Mutual microphones beside Lindsey and I now is another voice heard on Mutual and the great football coach, Don Schuler of the Miami Dolphins. Nice to have you here, Don.
Al, how you doing, Lindsey? Good to be with you.
Good to see you. Well, we've seen quite a football game. How about that talent out there? Now, could you do some damage if you could pick a few out there?
Well, we have some people out there from the Miami Dolphins, Bob Greasy, Jim Langer, Kuchenberg, and Nat Moore. And Nat had a great year. Greasy, of course, was the MVP, and he's going to get an award in Philadelphia on Wednesday night, the Burt Bell Award is going to be given to Bob as the most valuable player in the National Football League.
There's Stabler handing off, Lindsey, and picking up a little bit of yardage is Mark Van Egan, I believe.
Van Egan got it up there to the 38-yard line, picked up 2. It'll be 3rd and 2.
I know you've got a thought or two you want to pop it, Don. You were talking to me about it before.
Matter of fact, Don, do you think ball players take any pride at all in being participants in the Pro Bowl game?
Well, I think very much so. They recognize that these are the outstanding players, and this year it's a little bit different. The format is different. It's voted by the coaches, and then the players have an equal vote. And I know that they took a lot of time in the meetings to try to come up with the people that they thought deserved the honor of representing the American Football Conference and the National Football Conference here.
Van Egan has picked up a 1st down now. He's moved it just outside the 32-yard line, 1st and 10.
Stabler really had a hot hand there at the beginning of the 2nd quarter. He really was sharp.
Didn't he, though? Took him almost the length of the field.
What a pair of quarterbacks, Bob Greasy and Kenny Stabler.
Stabler back again, pumps this one. Incomplete, trying to get to Cliff Branch, and he was popped immediately, and it's an incompleted pass.
He put it on the money, though. Branch had it in his hand.
When you throw them like that, you worry. That gives you fellas gray hairs on the sideline, doesn't it?
It really does. Greasy's first interception, he hit Franco Harris right in the hands, and the ball bounced out, and they intercepted. And the box score, it says interception, but Bob put it on the money.
It'll be 2nd and 10. We got 59 seconds remaining in the first half here now. The AFC is leading by a score of 10-0.
All right, Coach, what do you call from the sidelines? Put it up. Get greedy and put it up.
There's the quick pass. That's the same pass to the fullback, cutting over the middle.
Incomplete at the 25, so it'll be 3rd down and 10 yards to go. How much of a difficulty is it in getting a team ready for this game, Don? The fact that you do have certain restrictions, no blitzing except on 3rd and short and that sort of thing.
Well, this helps because you only have a short time to work with the players, but the big thing is just getting them on the same page as far as the terminology offensively and defensively. Teams have different ways to call offensive formations and defensive sets, and here the big job of the coach is to try to get them all on the same page.
All right, here's Stabler again. Penalty marker is thrown.
Branch was the intended receiver out there, but that fellow Roger Worley is right there where the football is. He's a good one.
Roger has been in this game a few times.
Lindsey, I'm going to give you 5 yards. How's that? A beautiful night for football. And, Coach, I know that when you think about, and you already have started planning, I know, Don Shula, getting ready for 1978, that already you have some ideas about the draft coming up here in about 3 months.
We really do. We're very pleased about our young people and the way that they developed last year. They came on strong in the second half of the season and played good football. And we hope that we can come up with another good group of young people and keep the veterans around for a few more years.
Holding penalty makes it 1st and 10 at the 27. Stabler throwing incomplete down to the 12-yard line. A diving attempt down there by Nat Moore. So it's going to be Lynn Swan, I beg your pardon. 2nd and 10 at the 27.
Stabler hangs in that pocket as good as any quarterback in football. He just waits and waits, and that gives the receiver that extra time to put the move on the defensive back and come open.
It's almost a necessity here when you consider the great cornerbacks and the safeties, the way they cover here. When you've got these kind of all-star performers, you've got to wait till the last second.
That's right. That's a pretty good front four rushing the passer there, too.
Oh, yes.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. Stabler again, dropping back. Takes a look, goes long, down to the end zone, and it's incomplete.
Tell you one thing, Cliff Harris is an angry man down there. He is not very happy with that call. They put a sandwich on that receiver down there. They really sandwiched him in.
And he felt the receiver kept him from intercepting the ball.
He did. Alan Ellis and Cliff Harris sandwiching him, making 3rd down and 10 now as the ball comes back out to the 27. 41 seconds left in the half.
In this game now, you can do a little bumping, though, can't you?
Right, you're allowed to one bump.
AFC back in the huddle, and Stabler brings him up once again. You got Kenny Burrow coming out to a wide left and running backs in an I formation. Here's a quick pitch. Pruitt's got it. Tries the right side, gets inside the 25, and he's down to the 23-yard line. Picked up about 4 on the play, but that'll make it a 4th down.
Coach said Van Egan. Now, there's Mark Van Egan, and he just put a block there on Kenny Houston, a savage old pro. He just laid it to him and made the run, the few yards possible there. This Van Egan is not only a great runner, he's a great blocker, he's an all-around football player.
He's really come on, and he's given Oakland the type of fullbacking that they like. He's 1,000-yarder now for 2 years in a row. And
Tony Leonhardt with a 39-yard attempt. It is up, and it is good. A 39-yard field goal by Tony Leonhardt of the AFC. And so the score now is 13-0. The AFC. More after this special 60-second message for General Electric and Lazy Boy chairs.
What's all the buzzing about? Now through March 11th, there's a great $5 rebate on GE's battery-operated smoke alarm. You heard it. General Electric will send you $5 when you buy their battery-operated smoke alarm. It's something that every home should have. So pick up one or as many as you need. It's a great gift idea, too. But hurry, offer ends March 11th and time is running out. The GE battery-operated smoke alarm $5 rebate. It's news that's worth buzzing about.
Hi, Joe Namath here. You know what band music means to me? It means halftime. Relax. Of course, the best way to do that is in a Lazy Boy chair. Lazy Boy makes all kinds of comfortable recliners in all kinds of styles. Comfort and style. That must be why Lazy Boy is America's favorite chair. Lazy Boy, your favorite is on sale now, so march on over and get it.
The AFC will kick it off with 3 seconds remaining in the first half. 13-0. The American Football Conference leads, and teeing the football up, Tony Leonhardt ready to put his foot into it. 45 yards they moved in 12 plays. 3 minutes and 14 seconds they held the football, and the field goal, 39 yards by Tony Leonhardt. 13-0. The AFC set for the kickoff. Here we come. Lindsey?
Eddie Brown and Walter Payton are deep to receive the kickoff of the NFC. Play has been dominated by the AFC in the first half, and they lead by a score of 13-0. Leonhardt puts it on the ground over to Eddie Brown's side, scoops it up at the 11-yard line, gets back to the 15, cuts toward midfield at the 20-25. Can't find anywhere to go, and he is stopped just across the 25. That's the end of the first half with the score AFC 13, NFC nothing, and now this for Las Vegas.
The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority presents Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
I thought we might vacation in Las Vegas this year, Charlie. You know it's the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah, I can hardly wait to see those beautiful Las Vegas showgirls.
But there's more to do in Las Vegas than sit by the stage and watch girls. Don't forget there are things to do in the daytime, too.
Sure, sit by the pool and watch the girls.
All right. Besides swimming, there's golf, tennis, and being out in that clear desert air makes one more, well, handsome.
Oh, yeah? Did you ever see a camel? Hey, how will we get there, Bergen?
Well, the Las Vegas airport is just on the edge of town, so I thought we would fly.
I'll fly when I get there.
They have more than 38,000 beautifully decorated rooms.
Speaking of beautiful decorations, I wonder how I do get a date with a showgirl.
Well, let's call our travel agent right now for reservations.
Yeah, tell him to reserve me a blonde.
Girls, always girls.
I hope so.
We have the new 5 inductees for the National Football League Hall of Fame, which will be introduced to you at halftime. And we'll have our halftime activities after station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports network.
24 hours a day, your news voice in Northern California. This is KCBS San Francisco.
And now the kickoff of the second half. A friend Herrera will boot it off, and Billy White Shoes Johnson is deep to receive the kickoff of the AFC. Here comes Herrera. He puts it up. Johnson takes it at the 14, drops the ball, picks it up, and he is back to the 20 and is stopped at the 24-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 24. It was Brad Van Pelt downfield to make the tackle. We pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
News 24 hours a day, every day on News Radio 74, KCBS San Francisco.
The American Football League now in possession of the football. First down at their own 24-yard line as we get the third quarter underway, a 13-0 lead. And Lindsey, as they break the huddle, I see that Bob Greasy is back at the helm.
Bob Greasy brings him up now. He from the Miami Dolphins and the University of Purdue. It's 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Greasy's waiting for the snap with wide receivers left and right. Simply leave this one on the ground. A stutter step taken in by Franco Harris, and he moves it to the 28-yard line. Picked up about 4 yards on the plate. It's going to be 2nd down and 6. Matt Blair from his linebacker post came in to make the tackle. We are early in the third quarter. The Pro Bowl at Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. An enthusiastic crowd on hand here tonight for the playing of this all-star game. Lydell Mitchell and Franco Harris are the setbacks, teammates some 6 years ago at Penn State. For Joe Paterno, dropping straight back is Greasy. Throws a turnout to Kenny Burrow, and Burrow steps out of bounds up the 34-yard line, perhaps the 33 when they finally get it spotted. Rollin Lawrence in to make the tackle and run him out of bounds.
Lawrence comes up very quickly on that little turnout, but there is absolutely no way to defend against that. If you throw the turnout the way it's supposed to be, the ball is on the inside. The only way you can do is go banging into the would-be receiver and pick yourself up a yellow flag in a hurry. And that ball down at the 33-yard line is very close to another first down.
Third down and a yard to go, double tight end alignment as Dave Casper comes in there to join Russ Francis. 3rd and 1 at the 33-yard line. Running backs are tightly aligned now, and it is handed off, and there's Franco hitting in, and Franco Harris pushed back as he's trying to get to the sticks, and it'll depend entirely on where the ball is spotted. Up there close, appeared to be thrown back and not to get to the sticks, but we'll find out as soon as they get them unstacked.
Down on the bottom there is the umpire, Lindsey. I see Cliff Harris was in there. And the middle of that line, also Harvey Martin in on the play.
Did not make it, and so the punting unit comes in now for the AFC. And that's Ray Guy coming in for his first punt of the night. He, of course, led the league with an average of 43.3 from the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg and the Oakland Raiders. It has been said by some observers, when you classify punters, there is Ray Guy, and then there are all the rest.
And that is true.
He has dropped back now. Eddie Brown is back in a safety, standing at his own 28 to receive the punt. Here's the snap now, and Guy puts it up. Eddie Brown follows the trajectory. He's back at the 23, takes it, goes left to the 25 to the 30, to the 35 to the 40. Back to midfield, 45 to the 50. Eddie Brown from the University of Tennessee moves it to the 45-yard line. First down and 10 yards to go on a brilliant return by the Washington Redskin returner.
I'll tell you, he ran it back, and he gave you everything. For a moment, it looked there as though he was going to break it all the way. He broke a couple of tackles there. Dave Dalby had a shot at him. Dave Dalby couldn't handle him. It was a beautiful run back, and it's now in the, NFC possession and over in the AFC territory.
At the 46, a punt of 44 yards, return by Eddie Brown of 31 yards. This is handed off, and it is taken out to the 42-yard line by Terry Metcalf. And he stopped there after a gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6 yards to go. Randy Gradishar came in to make the tackle, the middle linebacker.
The Lazy Boy Chair Company again awarding a famous Lazy Boy recliner to the outstanding offensive and defensive players in this game. Tom McEwen of the Tampa Tribune, Cameron Snyder of the Baltimore Sun, and Larry Fox of the New York Daily News are our judges, and we'll announce the winners at the conclusion of the game.
Foreman and Metcalf are the setbacks now, and there's a handoff from Pat Hayden to Chuck Foreman, and the Minnesota Viking running back gets inside the 35-yard line, moving to his left. He's at the 34. Robert Brazil made the tackle.
I'll tell you, we had a matchup down there. We had Terry Metcalf leading the way, and Terry Metcalf blocking down on Robert Brazil, the big 238-pound linebacker on that right side. And that's just not the right kind of matchup. Metcalf weighs about 180.
It's a first down for the NFC, and they haven't had many tonight. They have the ball at the 34-yard line. The AFC is leading by a score of 13-0. Pat Hayden quarterbacking, handing this one off to Metcalf, and Metcalf gets to the 31-yard line. Gain of 3 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 7. Lou Kelcher came in to make the tackle for the AFC.
Louis Kelcher from San Diego. He played his football at SMU. He's a big lad. His first Pro Bowl, by the way. 3rd year in professional football. 6'5", 282 pounds when he's well fed.
Excellent football weather here in Tampa, Florida tonight. Just crisp enough to make it interesting. Second down and 7 yards to go. The running backs are evened up. Pat Hayden waits for the snap. He drops back. Nice short drop. And over to the right side, it is taken at the 22-yard line. Lamar Parrish covering defensively, but it is a reception at the 22-yard line. Gathered in there by Mel Gray, just as he fell across the sideline marker, but the call is good at the 22.
Here's one of the smallest receivers in the entire National Football League. He's only 5'9", weighs about 170 pounds from Missouri. His 20.6 yards per catch. The best in the National Football League this year.
In this alignment is Mel Gray far to the left side. 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. This is Terry Metcalf trying the left side. Slides inside the 20-yard line, just inside. Again, we're about 2 yards on the play, make it second down and 8 yards to go. The NFC trying to get something on the scoreboard with the AFC leading 13-0 in the third quarter.
Almost, well, usually you would expect the AFC to run to the left side because they have the great offensive tackle and guard over there, Art Shell and Gene Upshaw. This time, here's the NFC running to the left side strong with Foreman leading the way and Metcalf behind him.
Second down and 8 yards to go. Pat Hayden drops back now, takes a look, swings it out in the right to Foreman. Foreman cutting back toward midfield to the 20-15-10. Foreman to the 9-yard line. First down and goal to go at the 9. Lamar Parrish brought him down. Out in the right flat to Chuck Foreman.
He got more yardage out of a play, out of a screen play, a screen pass that really never got formed. He got more yardage out of it than anybody I've seen this year.
Screen didn't come out. He ran back toward midfield as though looking for it and then changed direction, came back and drove to the 9-yard line. First down and goal to go. The NFC is driving here now. Metcalf and Foreman are evened up for Pat Hayden. Wide receivers to the left and right. It's Foreman to the left side, looking for a cut. Can't find a corner to turn. No gain. He's dropped at the 9-yard line. It's second down and goal at the 9. It was Tony Green and Mike Haynes closing him off out there.
But it was Big John Dutton who broke up the play. He strung it out there. Big John was over there, stringing it out all the way and not letting him get the yardage they anticipated out of that play. They just couldn't turn the corner.
Ball is spotted inside the 9-yard line now. We're at second down and goal to go. 9 minutes, 54 seconds remaining to be played in the third quarter. Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Mel Gray going to a wide left now. Foreman's in the left set. Metcalf is in the right set for Pat Hayden. Waiting for the snap. Dropping back is Hayden. Sets now, pumps this one, and it is complete at the 5-yard line. Just inside the 5, Terry Metcalf hanging on to it. Tom Jackson made the stop and is spotted inside the 5-yard line where it's going to be third down and goal to go for the NFC. A big third down play coming here.
Tell you one thing, Hayden really threaded a needle there. He threw to a Terry Metcalf at the 5 who was down on his knees and caught it in the letters. I mean, that's right off the top of the shoes.
Pat Hayden now marching up to the line of scrimmage. His running backs are well set. Wide receivers to the left and right. Ball is inside the 5-yard line. Hayden drops back. Looks now, pumps this one, and it is caught. Touchdown. It's Terry Metcalf. He was in the end zone, ran back across the goal line into the field to play, but all you got to do is possess it over the plane of the goal line for the touchdown. That is it. A touchdown pass from Hayden to Metcalf. The NFC is on the board.
On the boards, and we've got another nomination for our Pennzoil Key Play Award. Now it's a 13-6 football game. And when these gentlemen start thinking in the second half about the difference in paychecks, the winners get $5,000, the losers get $2,500. This next I'd say the next 20 minutes is going to be rather severe.
Charlie Waters is holding for Efren Herrera. Herrera boots it up, and it is good. So the score is AFC 13, the NFC 7. There's a timeout on the field now. This for Budweiser.
When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the moment is right for a great beer. When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the good times are moving through right here. After the work is done, while you're still having fun, anytime's the right time to say it. When do you say Budweiser? Buzz a beer for any time at all. When do you say Budweiser? The smile on your face tells the world what you're thinking. 'Cause when you say Budweiser, the #1 beer is what you'll be drinking. After the work is done, while you're still having fun, the king of beer is waiting for your call. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
46 yards, 9 plays, 4 minutes of holding on to the football, and the NFC is on the scoreboard. All right, Sam Huff, great linebacker and a very fine broadcaster for Mutual in the booth with us. Sam, the NFC is back in it.
Well, they're starting to come back. That time, Pat Hayden moved the club very well with some real fancy running from Chuck Foreman, and I think, as you said, Al, it's going to be a real barn burner from here on out.
All right, Lindsey, ready for the kickoff?
Tony Lenhart is ready to put it up, and he's got Billy White Shoes Johnson deep, flanked on one side by Pruitt and the other side by Lynn Swan. So Lenhart puts it up, and it's over to Pruitt's side of the field. Pruitt's got it at the 11-yard line, to the 15, to the 20, 25, to the 30, And he's pulled down at the 30-yard line. So right there, the AFC will start 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. And the AFC is leading 13-7. Harvey Martin was the man downfield to make the tackle.
When you look at this all-star alignment, Sam, you've just got to believe the AFC has a decided advantage. 7 all throws.
Well, they have an awful lot of speed in those outside receivers, and the quarterback, he makes a big difference in this game, you know. Pat Hayden is a young quarterback, and, of course, Kenny Stabler in there can certainly make a difference with his team. So I think quarterbacking so far is the difference.
Bob Greasy now waiting for the snap at quarterback for the AFC with the running back split 1st and 10, the ball across the 30-yard line. Greasy drops back, throws right, and diving attempt incomplete across at the 36-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 yards to go at the 31-yard line. It was Lydell Mitchell for whom the pass was intended. We have 8 minutes, 39 seconds remaining to be played in the 3rd quarter.
13-7. A touchdown now and an extra point. You could have a whole different ball game.
You know, one thing that's very important is both of these clubs have only been working together for 1 week, and that just shows you the kind of talent that you have down there to get the kind of performance out of both teams with 1 week of practice.
Greasy again waiting for the snap with the running back split and wide receivers left and right. 2nd down play coming. Greasy now handing it off, and it is a move by Franco Harris across the 30, but he can't go anywhere. It's no gain. Franco Harris is dropped at the 31-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 10. Allen Ellis from the Chicago Bears up to make the tackle.
Ellis was the man there. Sam, I got to believe this might be a real old barn burner in the 4th quarter.
Well, I think it is. Both of these teams, you know, the difference between winning and losing is $2,500, and whenever you're down here for a week, $2,500 to these guys can go pretty quick. They're not the biggest tippers in the world. They just like to spend a little bit of money when it means something.
$2,500 would buy Harvey Martin a good meal.
Sam Huff played in this game, and it was played every year in Los Angeles, and they used to give medals to the players who got to the stadium. It's 3rd and 10. Greasy now dropping back to set it up. Turns it loose, incomplete, in front of his intended receiver. He was hit immediately by Randy White. White was sitting in his lap. And so it's going to be 4th down coming up. However, there is a penalty marker. Check it out. A penalty marker. Or is there?
I thought it was across the way at about the 40-yard line, but maybe there was just one drop.
Apparently not, because the punting unit has come on for the AFC, and that means that Ray Guy is coming out to put one in orbit.
That's the nicest kid to talk to, I think, that I've talked to this year, Randy White. Nice to talk to, but I want to tell you, not nice to play with. He just lured the boom on Bob Greasy.
Ray Guy back, and Eddie Brown is in center safety to receive the kick, standing on his own 30-yard line. AFC 13, the NFC 7. There's a snap, and it's taken by Guy. High trajectory kick as usual, over to the left side, and it's taken at the 35. Penalty marker. Penalty marker is dropped as he goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line, but there's a marker to be checked out. Tony Green was the man who got him across the sideline marker.
Green knocked him out across the way over there. That flag was flying, actually, just after he made the catch there.
Penalty's going to be against the NFC. The AFC is being consulted now to exercise an option. And they're bringing it back. Line of scrimmage was 31. And a 5-yard penalty moves it up to the 36-yard line now.
Delay, 12 men on the field, defense, 4th down.
There you have it, 12 men on the field, which is delay of game against the NFC. That's how you return a kick. You put 12 men on the field.
Sam Huff, that's a little bit too many.
Well, he'd like to play with 12. Of course, they do that up in Canada, but this is United States football.
Well, they played a game right here on the Canadian rules just a week or so ago, and they haven't got it straightened out yet. Ray Guy back now takes the snap, puts it up. This is the one that's slow on it, and Eddie Brown drops back. He's got it up to 13, running laterally to the right, to the 15, turns up to the 20, but he is nailed at the 21-yard line. There's a timeout on the field with the score, AFC 13 and NFC 7, and now this word.
Hey, Orville, what did I tell you?
You were right, Wilbur. This Continental Airlines 727 is some airplane.
Yeah, look how spacious it is.
Well, nice going, brother. You just broke the seat.
No, these middle seats fold down to give you more elbow room.
Hey, Wilbur, our plane has got some things even Continental doesn't have.
Oh?
Yeah, like plenty of fresh air for our passengers.
Fresh air. Our last two passengers got wind burn.
Uh-huh. Look at all these exposed wires. We don't have that.
Orville, that's Continental's free stereo entertainment.
Oh.
Orville, what are you doing?
Sir, may I help you with something?
Is this where you store the parachute, ma'am?
No, those are overhead storage compartments for your carry-on luggage.
Oh, I see. Hey, Wilbur, what does she do?
She's a Continental hostess.
Let's get one for our plane.
Oh, sit down.
If you can't fly Continental.
You may have to fly with Orville and Wilbur.
Fly Continental's spacious 727s nonstop to Albuquerque and direct to El Paso and San Antonio. For reservations, call your travel agent, company travel department, or Continental.
Congratulations to Coach C.M. Newton at the University of Alabama tonight. Alabama knocked off the #1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats 78-62 in college basketball. So Alabama victorious over Kentucky tonight in college basketball. And in our booth right now, Gil Brandt, Director of Personnel for the world champion Dallas Cowboys. You've got a few boys down there playing in this game, Gil.
Yes, Al, we have 7, and the 8th, Roger Staubach, was supposed to be in the game, was hurt in the Super Bowl game, and was unable to play. And I think they're all doing an excellent job.
All right, here we go. The NFC now, having, of course, the national championship team, the Dallas Cowboys, in control. Lindsey?
First and 10 at their own 21-yard line. Pat Hayden's quarterbacking, and he fakes the handoff to Foreman, gets it out incomplete in the left flat, and so it's going to be second down and 10 yards to go at the 21-yard line. Trying to get it to Metcalf out there in the left flat after faking the handoff to Foreman. Randy Gradishar covering out there, the middle linebacker.
I don't know. If I was Terry Metcalf's size, about 180 pounds, and I went out there and had a ball on the top of my fingers, I'm not so sure, Gil Brandt, that I'd catch it if Randy Gradishar were closing ground.
You know, the most amazing thing is that Randy Gradishar is playing tonight. He was hurt in the Super Bowl game and carried off the field and back playing tonight.
Second down and 10 yards to go at the 21. The running backs have split that last punt by Ray Guy, and it was a 51-yarder. Foreman spins his way up to the 25-yard line. Picks up 4 on the play where it'll be third down and 6. Gradishar again coming out on the tackle. You know, I think that represents what Gil Brandt is talking about, a change in attitude about the Pro Bowl, because, Gil, I think you'll agree we went through a period where ball players didn't appear to be all that interested in playing in the Pro Bowl, and now once again they are.
Yes, that's correct. I know Roger was extremely disappointed that he couldn't play in the game, and the feeling is that way through the league. Everybody wants to play.
Third down and 6 yards to go. The ball is at the 25-yard line. Pat Hayden still quarterbacking for the NFC. Straight drop this time. He sets it up. Pumps once, goes left. And it's taken at the 35-yard line and up to the 37-yard line. That's going to be a first and 10 for the NFC. Casanova coming in on the tackle along with Mike Haynes.
They put a sandwich move on him there, and I'll tell you, there was no peanut butter on that one, boy. When they hit out there.
So the NFC trailing by 6 points in the ball game. Has a first and 10. They have it at the 37. Running backs are split as Hayden slowly comes up to the line. Ready to take the snap. Metcalf left and Foreman right in this set. And it's Metcalf coming to the right side, trying to get outside the turn upfield. And he gets to the 40, has to drive, and it stops just across the 40-yard line. Picks up only 3 on the play to the right side, so it's second and 7.
Tommy Casanova had come up over there. He was making the move on it. A little Mel Gray put the block on him. Blocked him back in. Give him a little bit of running room there, but he just couldn't get outside. The runner couldn't get outside on that. I got to wonder, Gil Brandt, with a young football team like the Dallas Cowboys, you fellas just might have the regime, the dynasty that they said couldn't be rebuilt.
I don't believe that. I think it's just how hard you work and how lucky you are as far as injuries are concerned, whether you repeat or not.
Now Hayden handing it off to Foreman. Foreman again spins his way up to the 44-yard line, taking the full pivot. Picked up 4 yards on the play. It'll be third and 3. Gil Brandt has Dallas quieting down into the last time I looked in on the newsreels. Dallas people were in a state of high jubilation over having won the Super Bowl. Is things quieting down there any yet?
Well, I think they've come back down to earth, but we're just thankful that our fans are of that type, and it's a great lift to your ball club.
Well, it was a great year for the Cowboys and for their fans, certainly. Third down and 3 yards to go for the NFC here. Running backs are split. Dropping back is Hayden. Pumps once, throws left, and it's Metcalf, and he's got it out of bounds across the 50-yard line. And Tony Green ran him out over there. At the first and 10, it's going to be brought to the inbounds marker and spotted. near the 49-yard line, perhaps the 48.
Gil Brandt, the last time I saw your general manager and then president of the club, Tex Ram, he had a smile on his face like he just got an order for 177,000 season tickets for next year.
I don't think Tex will lose that smile until about next August when we start playing those preseason games.
First and 10 now for the NFC. They've moved the ball into AFC territory. Pat Hayden quarterbacking them. Leaves this one on the ground, and it's Foreman again. Fires up the middle and gets just to the 46-yard line. He picked up 2, where it'll be second down and 8 at the 46.
You know, Lindsey, Chuck Foreman now, when he goes into that line, he goes in spinning like a top. He reminds you a great deal of a pickpocket on Broadway, doesn't he? He was in a hurry to get it and get gone.
Well, I don't know about the pickpockets on Broadway. I never got away from one of those like that. 4 minutes and 26 seconds remaining to be played in the third quarter with the AFC leading 13-7. Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Wide receivers left and right. Metcalf in the right set. Foreman in the left set. Pat Hayden dropping back. Takes a look. Throws left over near the sideline. It's incomplete there. Right at the 40-yard line. An incompletion will make it 3rd and 8. Mel Gray, the intended receiver, could not hang on. It's 3rd and 8.
Mike Haynes was over there on the coverage, but that was just too high. It was off the fingertip there. Pat Hayden, Jim Hart, both sharing the quarterbacking duties, and with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the third quarter, the AFC leading 13-7, the NFC closing ground.
Here they come out of the huddle once again and up to the line. Mel Gray coming to a wide right. They've still got Metcalf and Foreman, and there's the setbacks for Pat Hayden. Third down play coming here now, 3rd and long. Hayden dropping back. Sets and goes long, and it is intercepted at the 35-yard line. Mike Haynes, the bridegroom, goes out of bounds at the 42. The AFC gets the football at the 42-yard line.
That was great quickness, Gil Brandt. He just stole that football. But hey, as they switch sides here now with 4:03 remaining in the third quarter with the score, the AFC 13, the NFC 7, timeout on the field. Now this for the Teamsters and Sears.
Are you getting your money's worth these days? If the answer is no, consider what you're missing if you do not belong to the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Best wages guaranteed. No-cost pension, health and welfare protection. That and much more add up to real family security. You can't get more for your money than the Teamsters do. Now you know why. They're the nation's largest labor union. Teamsters, 2.3 million families strong and growing.
Sears brings you a summer weather forecast in January.
Temperatures to hit the mid-90s for some hot, muggy days.
Get a jump on hot weather now by shopping Sears pre-season room air conditioner sale. Now, while temperatures are down, so are prices on 17 Kenmore models, on bedroom, multi-room, and large capacity units. Save $20 to $70, and only $5 hold your unit on layaway until April 15th. Shop Sears air conditioner sale now and save $20 to $70 on Kenmore, solid as Sears.
And a real scorcher tomorrow as the heat wave continues to punish the area.
Next Saturday, I'll be on my way to Honolulu, Hawaii. And the following week, we'll be broadcasting, covering the Hawaiian Open Golf Championship over many of these mutual stations. It'll be my pleasure to be anchorman with the Mutual Golf crew as we get the first golf tournament of the year underway.
If you like a caddy, I'll be available. 1st and 2 at the 42-yard line now. The AFC with the football. Dropping back to pass it is Bob Greasy, but he is dropped back there. Bob Greasy dropped back, and Claude Humphrey got to him, the big man from Atlanta.
Greasy did the smartest thing he could possibly do. I think he might have seen out of the corner of his eye Humphrey closing ground at an angle, and Greasy went down, and Humphrey went right over the top of him.
So it is second down and 17 yards to go with the ball back at the 35-yard line. 3 minutes, 57 seconds left to play in the third quarter. AFC 13, NFC 7. The Pro Bowl game in Tampa, Florida. Here they come now, sending wide receivers to the left and right. Lydell Mitchell, Franco Harris are the split running backs. Leave this one on the ground, and it is Lydell Mitchell who is hitting up there across the 35 to the 36. Jeff Seaman, middle linebacker, made the tackle again of a yard, so it's going to be third down and 16 yards to go.
Big lad from Minnesota there in the middle. He's playing now instead of Bill Berge. It's either going to be Seaman or Berge in the middle as a Mike man, as they call him there, the middle linebacker. Seaman comes up very strong on the run. He's very difficult to fake out. If any problem at all, Seaman may have his problems on the deep drop on pass coverage, but he can certainly cover the runner.
Kenny Burr goes to a wide right and Nat Moore to a wide left. Greasy dropping back now. Steps up and steps up again. Hit just as he turned it loose. It's incomplete at the 39-yard line. He's trying to get it to Franco Harris. It was in and out of the hands of Harris. Greasy was hit just as he turned the ball loose by Larry Brooks and Claude Humphrey. So it'll be fourth down. The punting unit comes out.
They really put the pressure on there, Lynn. Humphrey and Brooks went after Greasy. Again, he did the foldo act. He folded up very, very quickly. And Humphrey and Brooks, I think, banged helmets there as they went after him.
I think they did, and they were slow getting up. Now, Ray Guy's back. This appreciative crowd last time was applauding while the ball was in the air as he hung one of those patented Ray Guy high trajectory kicks up. Eddie Brown is in the middle to receive the punt. Ray Guy now gets it, puts it up. Another high spiraling kick. Brown's waiting at the 24. Drops it, dribbles it, picks it up, goes to the left 25. Penalty marker's thrown. Penalty marker's thrown as he is stopped at the 27-yard line. Could have been a clip on the turn there.
No, I believe Thompson was pushed by Lawrence as he had a shot at the runner there at Brown. And Thompson was down on the punt coverage, and Lawrence came up behind him, give him a shove.
And so a penalty will be against the NFC.
Going to step it off and move that ball back now.
Freddie Wyatt, the referee, faces it back to just outside the 14-yard line.
Clipping, number 23, receiving team.
For Alan Lars, clipping on the run back. The punt, incidentally, by Ray Guy, was a 40-yarder. It is 1st and 10. AFC is leading in the ball game by a score of 13-7. Now the ball has been moved back to the 12-yard line as the officials get their arithmetic straightened out. And it's spotted squarely on the 12. Here they come now. Pat Hayden, the quarterback. Metcalf and Foreman is running back. Gets it to Metcalf, and he is jitterbugging his way up to the 15-yard line. It's again a 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Robert Brazil in to make the tackle.
Also up there to help him on that play with Lou Kelcher again. Kelcher replacing Mike Barnes at the left tackle on that 4-3 defense.
Clock is wound down now to 2 minutes, 25 seconds remaining to be played in the third quarter. The AFC still has a 6-point lead in this Pro Bowl game. Members of the winning team get $5,000 each, and members of the losing team get $2,500 each. Pat Hayden waits for the snap, gets the football, gives it to Foreman, goes to the left side. Inside a block thrown out there by Metcalf, and he goes to the 23-yard line. Trying to get to the first down sticks, and they'll take a long look at this one now. It was Robert Brazil again in on the tackle, and it's a 1st and 10. First down for the NFC as they retain possession and keep the drive alive.
Little Terry Metcalf, as you pointed out, with a key block on the play. He is so quick. He got out there and he stung Tom Jackson. I think Jackson might have been off balance because when he hit Tom, he laid him on the seat of his trousers.
Here they come now. Pat Hayden again brings them up with the running backs well split and wide receivers left and right. Foreman's in the left set. Metcalf's in the right set. Hayden is dropping back and looking. Throws this one, and it is complete up to the 40-yard line. Gathered in there by Jackson. Harold Jackson with his first catch of the night. He had 48 catches, was 4th in the National Football Conference for the Los Angeles Rams. 1st and 10 at the 40.
I'll tell you one thing. Lamar Parrish knew when he hit him so hard that it shook him up a little bit. He's going to the sidelines. We got a replacement coming in for him. Moving in to replace Lamar is Louis Wright, the great cornerback from Denver.
1st down and 10 yards to go. NFC at their own 40-yard line. 53 seconds left in the third quarter. Running backs are split with Metcalf in the right set, Foreman in the left. For Pat Hayden, the Rhodes Scholar. Handed off this time, and it is Metcalf just across the 40 to the 41-yard line. We pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
Your 24-hour news voice, KCBS, San Francisco.
Lindsey, I can't help but chuckle a little bit because little Terry Metcalf just scooted past Lou Kelcher, and Kelcher reached out and got the back of his jersey, jerked him down.
2nd down and 9 yards to go at the 41, 18 seconds left in the third quarter. AFC 13, NFC 7. Greasy back now. Takes a look, scrambles out of the pocket, running right. Still alive, goes back to the left side. Scrambling, pump, look, and is stopped back at the 31-yard line by Randy Gradishar. Gradishar dropped Greasy. 2 seconds on the clock remaining to be played in the third quarter.
There's the mark of a great linebacker, a tremendous linebacker, Randy Gradishaw. Now, they were chasing Pat Hayden all over the place, trying to get to him, and those big linemen, Coy Bacon was in on that, Lou Kelcher, trying to get to him to make the tackle. He was scrambling, he was rolling out to the left. Gradishaw had made the deep drop on that. He realized that they needed help, and he came up and made a tremendous play. Randy Gradishaw, truly an all-pro and linebacker if there ever was one.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score AFC 13, NFC 7, and now this for Las Vegas and GM Trucks.
The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority presents Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
I thought we might vacation in Las Vegas this year, Charlie. You know it's the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah, I can hardly wait to see those beautiful Las Vegas showgirls.
Oh, but there's more to do in Las Vegas than sit by the stage and watch girls. Don't forget there are things to do in the daytime, too.
Sure, sit by the pool and watch the girls.
All right. Besides swimming, there's golf, tennis, and being out in that clear desert air makes one more, well, handsome.
Oh, yeah? Did you ever see a camel? Hey, how will we get there, Bergen?
Well, the Las Vegas airport is just on the edge of town, so I thought we would fly.
I'll fly when I get there.
They have more than 38,000 beautifully decorated rooms.
Speaking of beautiful decorations, I wonder how I do get a date with a showgirl.
Well, let's call our travel agent right now for reservations.
Yeah, tell him to reserve me a blonde.
Girls, always girls.
I hope so.
Like any married couple, my wife and I have our differences. But when she wanted a new car and I wanted a pickup, we settled on a GMC Caballero. The front half looks like the car she wanted, but the back half has a 6-foot bed like the pickup I wanted. Now, when we argue about who gets to use our new GMC Caballero, we settle that too. We ride in her half and carry our gear in mine.
Like a GMC. Up and go sucking like a...
With 15 minutes of playing time remaining, the AFC All-Star team leads the NFC All-Stars 13-7 in the Pro Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, as the National Football Conference team breaks the huddle and comes up to the line at the 30-yard line, we'll tell you what a great pleasure in a few moments it is to be bringing football your way.
Third down and 19 yards to go. Pat Hayden there. The ball is at the 31-yard line. Hayden drops back. Pumps once and it's dropped back at the 20-yard line. He wanted to go long up the middle. Had Harold Jackson down there, but it was dropped at the 20 by Curly Culp of the Houston Oilers. And the punting unit comes on for the NFC. They could not move. Louis Kelcher and Curly Culp.
Yes, sir, Mrs. Culp's curly-head boy was in there then. The big boy from the Houston Oilers came pouring through there. The president of our network, Mr. C. Edward Little, and every one of us at Mutual, pleased to be bringing you the football picture as we have Monday Night Football, Notre Dame football, the playoff games, Sunday football, across America and around the world on American Forces Radio. We're just happy to have you with us.
John James back in deep punt formation. Billy White Shoes Johnson is center deep to receive the punt. It is put up a high trajectory kick by James. Johnson moves over, takes it at the 31-yard line, comes back to the 35. And it is returned across the 40, and it is Pruitt who has the football. Pruitt returned the football across the 40, and we may have a penalty marker on the play.
Would you believe that on that tackle that it was Chuck Foreman who made the tackle?
Well, in an all-star game, you get some very strange things, and that's what we just got. Chuck Foreman on the special team.
All I can say is that if Bud's listening in up there in Minnesota, maybe I got the wrong number, Bud, but it looked like Chuck Foreman making the tackle.
First down and 10 yards to go, and the ball is on the 24-yard line now on the penalty.
Illegal use of the hands, number 40, receiving team.
Illegal use of the hand. On Mike Haynes of the AFC puts the ball back, where it is a first and 10 at the 24-yard line. A 49-yard punt for James. So the AFC is in possession once again. Stabler handing the ball off. They leave it on the ground out to the 27-yard line. Again, 3 yards on the plate. It'll be second down and 7. Kenny Stabler back in there at the controls. Jeff Steven and Harvey Martin came in on the last tackle. We are in the fourth quarter, and the AFC is leading by a score of 13-7.
Now, the one thought in that defensive team's mind out there, Martin, Brooks, Elam, Youngblood, Berge, that group, get the football back.
Stabler brings him up there once again. Hands it off to Pruitt, and Pruitt tries the left side, and Greg Pruitt is stopped at the 30-yard line, where he picked up 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 4.
I'll tell you, tonight is going to be a little difficult for our judges, McEwen and Snyder and Fox down there, to pick our lazy boy winners. The offensive and defensive players, again, in this ball game will receive a beautiful lazy boy chair. It's a gorgeous chair, and it is wonderful to recline in. Believe me, I have one at home.
Cliff Rice, far to the left side. 3rd down and 4 yards to go. Van Egan and Pruitt to the setbacks for Kenny Stabler. And Stabler is dropping back. Bumps it. It's batted down. It's batted down right at the line of scrimmage by Randy White, who got a big hand up there. And the punting unit's coming on. The AFC will have to give up the football. Ray Guys coming in to punt it.
Randy White just put that big meat hook up there and knocked it down. You know, he's some kind of a guy to talk to. I asked him, I said, Randy, you had a great year. Here you are, one of the great defensive football players. I said, you got a fellow named Harvey Martin next to you. He said, yes, sir. He said, I'm most fortunate. I have the greatest defensive player of the year playing next to me.
He could be right, too. Ray Guys back there standing at the 15-yard line. Takes the snap. Guy steps up, boots the football. Brown is moving over, and it's going to let it hit. There'll be no return. It's going to go out of bounds at the 37. There's a timeout with the score AFC 13, NFC 7, and now this word.
Behind the great name, there's a great car.
Why do so many Cadillac owners consider their automobile an investment? Because Cadillac owners know that over the years, Cadillac has consistently retained a higher percentage of its initial purchase price than any other U.S. luxury car make. That Cadillac consistently has had the highest resale value of any U.S. luxury car make. They know that once they've bought that first Cadillac, it's easy to stay with Cadillac. That's total Cadillac value. And that's the reason why year after year, more Cadillac owners trade Cadillac for Cadillac, giving it the highest repeat ownership of any U.S. luxury make. Cadillac owners know the meaning of total Cadillac value. So should you.
Behind the great name, a great car.
Test drive a 1978 Cadillac at your Cadillac dealer today.
12 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter of the Pro Bowl game. The AFC with an early 13-0 lead. The NFC closing ground, 13-7 the score at the moment. And Lindsey, I still think this game is up for grabs.
I think you're right. And now the running backs that have come into the ballgame are McCutcheon and Payton. For the NFC, they trail by 6 points. So they'll try to move the ball from their own 37, which is pretty good field position here in the fourth quarter. 12 minutes, 46 seconds left to play. So here comes the blue-clad NFC up the line, and Jim Hart of the St. Louis Cardinals in that quarterback now. Hart has taken over at quarterback for the stretch drive for the NFC. Running backs are well split. And it is Hart now, faking the handoff and pumping, and it's complete. It is taken by Billy Joe Dupree, and the big tight end is across the 45. Being pushed back, it'll be marked at the 47-yard line. Jack Lambert, middle linebacker in to make the tackle. Maybe a first down. It's very close.
Jim Hart just drilled that one right in there about waist high to Dupree, who grabbed it, doubled over, and just as he doubled over, big Jack Lambert piled into him.
They're going to take the chain out and measure for the possible first down. Matter of fact, they'll take it all the way across the field to the spot that was marked on the far side. The chain is being extended now, and it is going to be just inches short. It'll be second down, inches short.
You know, Lindsey, you've had the opportunity, since I have, to extend congratulations to the University of Notre Dame, because you were there for the Notre Dame-Texas battle that eventually won the national championship for the Fighting Irish. But today, I had a chance to talk to the great athletic director, Moose Krause, up at Notre Dame, and to send along personal congratulations, because, of course, Mutual and many of these stations carrying tonight's game carries a Notre Dame football schedule. National champions for 1977, the University of Notre Dame.
Indeed they are. Second down and short yardage here now. Close alignment. Jim Hart, the quarterback, double tight end in there now for the NFC. And this is Walter Payton hitting in for a first and 10. Continues to drive inside the 50 and on down to the 48-yard line. First and 10, the NFC is in AFC territory. Louis Wright finally brought him down.
Louis Wright finally brought him down, and I'll tell you, Bill Thompson, you won't see this very often. Billy Thompson came up and met him first, and Payton broke the tackle that Thompson threw on him and gained about 3 yards extra.
So it is a first down and 10 yards to go. The ball is spotted near the 47-yard line. Jim Hart again sends wide receivers to the left and to the right. Hayden and McCutcheon are the running backs in there for Hart. He's handing it off, and it's on the left side. And it is Payton who is stopped at the 42-yard line. Mike Haynes brought him down. Walter Payton picked up about 5 yards on the play. Speaking of Notre Dame, Al Wester, one of the great disappointments of my life occurred this week because of the snowstorm in New York. I couldn't get out of New York on Friday, where I was scheduled to go out for the Newt Rockne dinner in Chicago and to receive the Van Patrick Award for excellence in broadcasting. Visit a lot of old friends, George Conner, Johnny Latner, and Ziggy Zarobsky, all the rest. I couldn't get out of Manhattan.
I understand. They had you in the refrigerator.
I had to phone it in, as a matter of fact. Second down. Or rather,
how do you phone in an award?
Well, a phone in an acceptance. Second down and 5 yards to go. Now Hart is dropping back. Out to the left side on a screen, and it's Payton. Payton's at the 35. That's one they've been saving. He's at the 31-yard line for a 1st and 10. That's one you put in an all-star game and say, well, we won't use this one but once. Let's save it for the right time.
Tell you one thing, it was a great block one-on-one there. Doug France, he really held the block. He moved Curly Culp back a good 5 yards. You can tack one up on the door of Doug France in this final game of the 1977 season.
We have 10 minutes, 44 seconds remaining to be played in the Pro Bowl. The AFC is leading 13-7, but the NFC is driving. They have it 1st and 10 now at the AFC 31-yard line. Jim Hart brings them up. Now they loosen up on the right side. Drew Pearson moving out over there. Running backs are evened up. There's a wide receiver to the left side as well. Hart now has the handoff to McCutcheon just in time, and he drives to the 27-yard line. It is Mike Barnes in to make the tackle at the 27, a gain of 4, makes it 2nd down and 6 yards to go.
Jack Lambert was up there to help him. They put the pinchers on, Barnes and Jack Lambert. Just put the pincher on him, but that's good yardage now. They're moving the football. There's 4 big yards he just cut off there. 2nd down and 6. The NFC now can smell blood. They know if they can get the touchdown, the point after would send them ahead.
So they split the running backs, and they send Drew Pearson far to the right side. 2nd down, 6 yards to go at the 27-yard line. Jim Hart of the St. Louis Cardinals is waiting for the snap. He's dropping straight back, takes a look. And wanted to throw in the direction of Pearson. He gets it upfield, incomplete with a tackler hanging on. It was John Dutton hanging on to him. He managed to get it upfield some 15 or 20 yards to avoid the penalty for grounding, but it's an incompletion, 3rd and 6 at the 27.
I tell you, Jim got that football off under the worst kind of conditions because Big John Dutton was wrapped around his knees, trying to dump him, to wrestle him down, and Mike Barnes, the big tackle, over there on the same side that Dutton plays on, was coming in at him like a locomotive.
Incidentally, Lyle Alzado was shaken up in the first half of the ball game. John Dutton has played an outstanding defensive game. 3rd down and 6 yards to go. At the 27. Again, wide receivers left and right, and they split the running backs for Jim Hart. Hart's got the football now, dropping back to Sutter. Sets it and pumps it up the middle. And at the 20-yard line, a catch is made. A diving catch by Drew Pearson, I think. It is Pearson. As he gets up. No, it's Dupree. Dupree it is. The big tight end. 89 instead of 88, and he was tumbling over, but he gathered in the football, and they let it stay where he put it down at the 18-yard line.
That might be considered, too, for our Pennzoil Key Play Award, because this one, a big 3rd down play, keeps them alive. Down at the 18, it's 1st down for the NFC, and they are on the move.
Billy Joe Dupree with the circus catch. He of the Dallas Cowboys, 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Now again, Jim Hart starts the count, waiting for the snap. He's got the ball, short drop, pumps it to the left side. And it is taken at the 13, a completed pass. A completed pass. And it is Brazil who hit Drew Pearson immediately there on the sideline. But it is a completed pass at the 13.
What a play. The batted ball went high in the air. Brazil over there bounces him out. The ball is brought in at the 13-yard line, and one of those freakish plays where a ball batted into the air might well have been picked off or gone incomplete, goes for a completion, and 5 big yards.
2nd down and 5 at the 13-yard line. The NFC still driving. They trail by only 6 points. Now here is a fake pitch, and McCutcheon's got the ball, and he gets a yard and maybe 2. I stopped outside the 11. It's going to be 3rd and 3. Troy Bacon came in to make the tackle.
Coy Bacon doubling over there, making the tackle, bringing his man down. The runner ran right into the back of Tom Mack. Mack is in there at the left guard spot, and Mack was being blasted out of there by Curly Culp. Mack just couldn't contain him. He bounced off of Mack's back, spun out, and as he rolled to the right, there was Coy Bacon to wrap him up.
Third down and 3 yards to go. One of the big plays of the football game. 8.5 minutes remaining to be played. AFC 13, the NFC 7. The NFC has the ball. 3rd and 3 at the 11-yard line. Now Jim Hart is dropping back. Sets, pumps, throws, and it's taken inside the 10-yard line by Billy Joe Dupree. He is out of bounds at the 7. It's a first down and goal to go at the 7-yard line. Casanova and Thompson pushed it across the sideline marker, but not before he had picked up a first down and goal to go for the NFC.
Here's the surprising part about it. The AFC scored the first 13 points, threatened to run away. We have said many times they were more impressive. The football players as a whole had better credentials, but now they're breathing strong. And with the score, the AFC 13, the NFC 7, there's timeout on the field. Now this for Pennzoil. Making a long, sustained drive down a football field is tough, so it has a lot in common with the driving you do every day. You quarterback your car through a lot of tight situations. So does the man with the football. But he has protection when he's making his way through downfield traffic. And the engine in your car needs protection, too. Extra protection. Because today's tough driving conditions can cause motor oil to lose its ability to protect sooner than you may expect. And that's why Pennzoil developed PZL. Pennzoil PZL is an extended life motor oil, an exclusive formula of synthetic and natural oils. PZL is so good, it protects for double the miles of the longest oil change recommendation by car manufacturers. So get the extra protection of PZL for your engine. Look for the big PZL letters on the familiar yellow Pennzoil can. Pennzoil PZL, the motor oil that gives you extra safety because it protects for double the miles. Al Wester, Lindsey Nelson, Luke Griffin, our mutual crew from Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. 8 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the ball game, the Pro Bowl game. And the All-Stars of the AFC lead the NFC 13-7. But the NFC has the ball, first and goal to go from the 7-yard line. The NFC breaks the huddle, and with the action, Lindsey Nelson.
Jim Hart now bending in. He's got Walter Payton on the right set, Lawrence McCutcheon on the left set. First down goal to go at the 7-yard line. The NFC trailing by only 6 points here. Walter Payton has the ball, hits up the middle, drives into the 1-yard line. He is pushed back, but it's going to be spotted at the 1-yard line. Mike Hayes pushing Walter Payton back, but he drove for 6. Second down and goal to go at the 1-yard line for the NFC.
Casanova was there. Jack Lambert was there. They ganged up. They thought they had stopped the momentum of Payton. Payton got a couple of extra yards as he put those legs of his piston-like into motion and fought for a couple of extra yards.
Second down and goal to go. Break the huddle once again, sending Walter Payton over to the right set. Lawrence McCutcheon into the left set. Jim Hart bending in to take the snap. The crowd is rising to the occasion now. Hart goes to high count, gets it to Payton. He hits a touchdown for the NFC. Walter Payton took it in for the touchdown. The score is tied with a conversion attempt coming for the NFC. A 13-13 tie. And a conversion attempt will be coming up here now. The clock shows 7 minutes, 37 seconds remaining.
Walter Payton, 1 yard at left tackle, driving it in. He drove in 2 plays the last 8 yards. And Lindsey, I just leaned over during the commercial break and said, this fella can change the whole complexion of the game. 13-13. The point after a big one.
In 2 carries, Walter Payton took it in. It's going to be now Efren Herrera with Charlie Waters holding. Waters puts it down. Herrera boots it up. And it's good. With a score, NFC 14, AFC 13. There's a timeout on the field now. This for Buick Automobiles.
The new mid-size Buick Regal. It meets the demands of today.
A little science.
Without losing the special things about Buick that people have always loved. Now that's some trick.
A little magic.
On the outside, it's trimmer than last year's Regal Coupe.
A little science.
Yet there's more headroom, more legroom, more trunk room.
A little magic.
With the wizardry of a turbocharged sport coupe.
A little science.
And such traditional Buick qualities as luxury, elegance, and prestige.
Ooh, a little magic.
The new Regal, a down-to-earth dream car at your Buick dealer.
They surely will astound you. The amazing things
minutes to go, Lindsey Nelson. 14-13, the National Football Conference. All-Stars have finally taken the lead now with just 7:37 left. Moving 63 yards, 12 plays. They control the ball 5 minutes, 11 seconds.
There are so many game breakers on the field. So many game breakers. A Fran Herrera is ready to kick off. Billy White Shoes Johnson is center deep. Greg Pruitt's on one side, Lynn Swan's on the other. The ball is put up over the Swan side of the field, and Lynn Swan's got it at the 16. Runs toward midfield at the 20, 25, stops at the 26-yard line. So they'll start 1st and 10. The tackle by Tom Banks downfield to make it. 1st and 10 at the 26.
Mutual brings you the best in NCAA college basketball action over many of these stations. Next Saturday, it's Tennessee at Kentucky, so be sure to join Tony Roberts for the exciting play-by-play over many of these same Mutual stations. And tonight, we'll tell you again, Alabama beat Kentucky tonight, handing the #1 team in the nation their first defeat.
And now Kenny Stabler brings them up. He has got Mark Van Egan and Greg Pruitt as his running back. They're trailing by a point, and now Stabler drops back, pumps once, and whips it. It's complete up the middle at the 40 to the 45 to the 46-yard line. Cliff Bryant took it. The Oakland combination, 1st and 10 now. At the 46, Roger Worley came in to make the tackle. There are people in football who will tell you that in a circumstance like this, late in the game when you need a drive, there's no better man to do it than that left-handed quarterback in there right now, Kenny Stabler.
That's right, and a lot of the defenders will tell you that sucker throws from the wrong side. That's a problem.
1st down and 10 yards to go. Running backs are evened up now. It's Pruitt and Van Egan for Kenny Stabler. Stabler again, the left-hander, drops back. Takes one look, pumps it up the middle again, and it's taken by Casper. The Oakland combination. Dave Casper stopped at the 45-yard line. The 45 of the NFC. And Matt Blair and Isaiah Robertson were in there on the tackle.
They didn't throw him. They didn't have to throw him. Big Dave Casper is a fellow that you don't throw around. He's 6'4", 230 pounds. They just held up, and he said, all right, that's it. They had him wrapped up around the jersey, but the ball is at the 45, and already Stabler has begun to build a fire.
2nd down and a yard to go, and it's at the 45-yard line of the NFC. Stagger the running backs just astride this time. Van Egan's got the ball, tries for the 1st down, and may have picked it up. They'll have to take a long look at this one. It'll depend entirely on where it's spotted. If it's spotted where the headlinesman is right now, it's not a 1st down. Harvey Martin was in there on the tackle. It is not a 1st down, so it's going to be 3rd down and less than a yard to go. And it's just inside the 45.
Tell you one thing, they've got both Harvey Martin and Randy White, the whole right side of the world champion Dallas Cowboy defense. And when you got White and Martin over there, you got a lot of artillery.
Russ Francis comes in to stay in there with Casper and a double tight end alignment. They want the 1st down. Stabler respots Pruitt over to the left side. Pruitt and Van Egan. They need less than a yard to go for the 1st down. And here's Pruitt coming to the right side. He's got the 1st down, and he is hit at the 42-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 10 just outside the 42-yard line for the AFC.
Kenny Houston was coming on the play from the free safety. He was coming across, and Van Egan picked him up nicely there and blocked him just enough, hit him strong enough just to keep him out of the play and to give them the running room they needed to get the 1st down.
5 minutes, 4 seconds remaining to be played in the Pro Bowl game in Tampa, Florida. The NFC 14, the AFC 13. The AFC with the ball. 1st down, 10 yards to go. At the 42-yard line. Kenny Stabler has the ball. Bounce back now. Pumps it up the middle. A diving catch. A diving catch by his tight end there at the 26. Big Dave Casper pulled it in. The All-American from Notre Dame pulled it in at the 26-yard line.
What a great year Dave Casper has had this year. 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns in the playoffs this year. 3 in one game against Baltimore. I can tell you one thing. That Baltimore coach, Ted Marchibrodo, who is coaching this All-Star team, never wanted to see Dave Casper in action except for him.
1st down and 10 yards to go. Van Egan in the left set now. And as Pruitt getting the football, he tries left guard, but he is pulled down at the line of scrimmage by Big Claude Humphrey. We pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
KCBS San Francisco, News Radio 74.
Well, let's see, the AFC now moving right back, trailing 14-13. But the clock now is the one thing they have to fight. 3 minutes and 48 seconds. The clock is running. They're back in a huddle at the 35. They're going to have to hurry.
But the old left-hander from Alabama, Kenny Stabler's got a clock in his head. It's 2nd down and 10 at the 26-yard line. Stabler dropping straight back. Pumps once now. And it's dropped. He can't get rid of it. At the 35, it is Cleveland Elam in there to drop Stabler. He was waiting for a receiver to clear up the middle, and Casper is saying something to an official, I would guess indicating that somebody might have glommed onto him. In any case, the ball is spotted back at the 35 for a loss of 9. It's 3rd and 19.
Well, the blocking up in the offensive line for the first time tonight, really the first time tonight, broke down. I think primarily because Isaiah Robertson was blitzing. He came across on the play. He came straight across. Isaiah Robertson, Harvey Martin, and Cleveland Elam, all three of them are on top of Stabler, but Elam was a man who weighted him down and rode him to the ground.
3rd and 19. Cliff Branch is in the left set. Dropping back now is Stabler. Throws to Branch and overthrows him incomplete. Branch was coming back toward the inside. It is an incompletion. Randy White was putting the pressure on. Jeff Seaman was covering the middle. 4th and 19 at the 35-yard line.
I believe White actually hit the arm of Stabler's. He cut that one loose. Randy White was in there. He made a great pass rush, broke across the middle there. Bob Kuchenberg trying to block him there, and he got through.
4th down now. 4th down, and the NFC trails by a point as they move back in position to receive this football now because they figure they're going to get it one way or the other. However, Ray Guy isn't at a hole. Guy isn't in there to kick. He's in there to hold, and Leonard's going to attempt a 52-yarder. A 52-yard field goal attempt, which if good will put the AFC ahead. The ball is riding. It'll be short. It is in the end zone across the end line. It'll be turned over at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10. Cody Leonhardt's 52-yard field goal attempt is short. And the NFC, leading by a point, gets the ball at the 35 with 2:58 left to play.
That was a decision made on the bench over there, and you can bank on it. Ted Marchibroda said, well, we're down that far. Let's face it, there's 2 minutes and 58 seconds. We may never get another offensive play with the football. At least let's take the shot. And I don't blame him a bit. True, you give the ball up a little further up the field at the 35-yard line, Lindsey. But when you've only got 2 minutes and 58 seconds, you're going to have to take it away in a hurry, or you're going to have to try and get 3.
Keep in mind, we are approaching the 2-minute warning. It's 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. The blue-clad NFC has the football now. Jim Hart is the quarterback. They leave this one on the ground. And again, it's the little man spinning his way upfield. And all the way across the 40-yard line, Walter Payton, the little man, who came in and exploded in there on 2 tries for the last touchdown to tie the score. And now it's at the 37-yard line of the AFC on Payton's first and 10 at the 37-yard line.
Named at halftime, the Player of the Year in the National Football League. One major award that he picked up tonight, and he came out at halftime to collect it. And it looks like he's going to steal the show here.
1st down, 10 yards to go. A 28-yard scamper for Walter Payton. Now again, Jim Hart is waiting for the snap. McCutcheon is the other running back. However, it is handed off once again to McCutcheon, and McCutcheon goes to the 30-yard line. Jack Lambert made the tackle, a gain of 7 yards on the play. You know, at Jackson State, it was only a very few years ago that Walter Payton played in the band.
That's right, and a very religious young man. There is a timeout here, the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the ball game, and with timeout, the score. The NFC 14, the AFC 13. Now this word.
Now's the time to get rid of your old windows. Be prepared for winter by replacing old windows with new double-pane insulated windows by Armstrong. Save dramatically on fuel bills by keeping the weather out and the heat in your home with beautiful double-pane insulated windows. Armstrong can replace any type window with no damage to walls or trim, no cleanup or painting problems. The cost is modest, and you save on heating bills by reducing drafts and energy loss. Armstrong insulated double-pane windows fit any size window frame. They're completely weather-stripped, and they never rust or warp. Extra savings are yours now with Armstrong's introductory offer of free installation. Save on labor costs. For a limited time, enjoy free installation. Have your double-paned insulated windows installed this month. Phone now for a free estimate. 495-4060. No obligation. 495-4060. Call Armstrong now. 495-4060.
Next year, the Pro Bowl will be played at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, and 2 years from now at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii. Well, Lindsey, I really am not going over 2 years in advance to study the numbers, but I will be over there for the Hawaiian Open over many of these mutual stations next week.
I'll be thinking about you as I shovel out in New York. 2nd down and 3 yards to go at the 30-yard line. Wide receivers left and right. Jim Hart, quarterback of the NFC, and they lead by a point in this ball game. That's Walter Payton. He cuts up a right guard and drives to the 25-yard line. Picked up 5 yards for a 1st and 10. Jack Lambert in to make the tackle along with Tony Green. So, the NFC, leading by a score of 14-13 with 1:45 left to play, has it 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line of the AFC.
That little man just absolutely sparkles. A great, great running back. Walter Payton from Jackson State and the Chicago Bears.
Named tonight as Player of the Year in the National Football League. Here they come now, wide receivers left and right. McCutcheon and Payton. Payton has carried 11 times for 64 yards in this game tonight. This one goes to McCutcheon, and he is spinning his way into the 20-yard line. McCutcheon picked up 5 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5. Tony Green came up to make the tackle.
Green had to hurry on that one, too, because this fella just spun in there, and McCutcheon was spinning away.
We're getting a timeout signal now, and the AFC stops the clock. More after this special 60-second message.
Hello, I'm Jack Anderson, speaking for the National Suggestion Box. Thousands of people have already written with their ideas and suggestions. Now, I'd like to encourage you to do the same. The National Suggestion Box was established to bring your ideas for the country to the attention of policymakers here in Washington. Many citizen suggestions have been brought to the White House, and a number have become official policy. Write the National Suggestion Box, Post Office Box 2009, Washington, D.C.
Friends, this is Dinah Shore.
And I'm Nancy Wilson, with a tip for all you employers. If you're looking for able, reliable, steady workers, how about hiring the handicapped?
Disabled veterans have proved on the job they're just as safe, just as productive as the ordinary able-bodied employee. For a good worker, a safe worker, hire a disabled veteran.
Call the local office of your state employment service and do that today.
Leading 14-13, Lindsey, with a minute and 1 second left in the ball game. You just got to believe it's 2nd down and a short 5 yards for the NFC inside the 20-yard line of the AFC. You've got to believe the NFC will keep the ball on the ground and run it out. Tonight's Lazy Boy winners, our offensive player of the game was Walter Payton for the NFC. Defensive player of the game, Randy Gradishaw, the middle linebacker of the AFC. They'll each receive beautiful Lazy Boy recliners.
2nd down play now. Hart is up there, and he has his running backs aligned. In the left set, McCutcheon. In the right set, Payton. Waiting for the snap. The ball is inside the 20-yard line. This is McCutcheon. McCutcheon of a right guard, and he is inside the 15-yard line at about the 13-yard line. 1st down and 10 yards to go at the 13. Mike Haynes and Tony Green made the stop. The NFC kept the football on the ground. They picked it up, and the clock shows 44 seconds remaining to be played in this game, and it's running. It is wound down now to 38 seconds and still running. 1st down, 10 yards to go for the NFC. They have the ball at the AFC 13. The National Football Conference is leading by a score of 14-13. Now Hart slowly comes up to the line. Wide receivers left and right. Still McCutcheon and Payton. Hart's waiting for the snap, going high. Here's Walter Payton trying the left side. Gets inside the 10, legs turning down to the 8-yard line. He picked up 5 yards on the play before Jack Lambert brought him down. It'll be 2nd down and 5 yards to go at the 8. The clock shows 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The game is over. The National Football Conference has won the Pro Bowl game over the AFC by a final score of 14-13.
Our key play award and our key play winner tonight in the Pro Bowl game, Billy Joe Dupree. He'll receive an outstandingly beautiful wall trophy to help him remember the performance in this great game, and a gift supply of famous Pennzoil PZL Extended Life Motor Oil to help keep his car running smoothly for many, many miles. I know that Billy Joe would cherish the plaque that marks his actions in tonight's Pro Bowl. The comments from all over the league have been great. The players have been honored this season, have cause to be proud of their achievements. So Billy Joe Dupree gets the Pennzoil Key Play Award and a gift supply of famous Pennzoil PZL Extended Life Motor Oil, and our sincere congratulations to Billy Joe. We'll be back to our wrap-up now after this for Pennzoil.
Making a long, sustained drive down a football field is tough, so it has a lot in common with the driving you do every day. You quarterback your car through a lot of tight situations, and so does the man with the football. But he has protection when he's making his way down through field traffic, and the engine in your car needs protection too. Extra protection. Because today's tough driving conditions can cause motor oil to lose its ability to protect sooner than you may expect. And that's why Pennzoil developed PZL. Pennzoil PZL is an extended life motor oil, an exclusive formula of synthetic and natural oils. PZL is so good, it protects for double the miles of the longest oil change recommendation by car manufacturers. So get the extra protection of PZL for your engine. Look for the big PZL letters on the familiar yellow Pennzoil can. Pennzoil PZL, the motor oil that gives you extra safety because it protects for double the miles.
Lindsey Nelson, the most valuable player in this football game, a young man by the name of Walter Payton in 13 carries, 77 yards tonight. He scored the big go-ahead touchdown that set it up, that tied the game at least. And then right after that, of course, came the kick that put the NFC in front 14-13, a tremendous football game.
A strange football game because in the early going, the AFC was in complete control, and the NFC looked, if anything, inept. Looked as though this might be one of the few runaway games in the history of the Pro Bowl. But then, with Kenny Stabler guiding the way, the NFC, Kenny Stabler put them out in front. The NFC, riding on Walter Payton, came back and he tied it up. It was Efren Herrera who kicked the point that put them out in front, and the NFC won it 14-13.
And I guess that touchdown for Walter Payton will be another satisfying moment to remember for the next 5 to 6 months, because from now until July, he can take things easy and he can just head for the, what do they call it, the ham and beans brigade, because that's just about what it boils down to when you head for all of those banquets across the country that'll want Walter Payton, the player of the year in the National Football League, as their guest. He played a great game tonight. We'll continue our wrap-up now after this word.
It does make sense.
It doesn't.
Yes, it does. It makes good sense.
Well, I don't know.
Does leasing a car make sense? More people are being convinced it is a smart move. Start with your nearby leasing Lincoln Mercury dealer. Nobody has more kinds of cars for more kinds of people. Everything from the Continental Mark V to the little Mercury Bobcat. From Cougar XR7 to new Mercury Zephyr. 8 fine lines in all. Leasing is easy at the sign of the cat. One reason, our optional coupon maintenance book with its prepaid service at dealers coast to coast. Another, the popularity of our cars. Last year, our lease business hit an all-time high. Traditionally, our Continental Marks returned more of their original sticker price than comparable Cadillac models.
You know, that does make sense. I told you, didn't I?
If this is your year for a new car, lease it easy at the sign of the cat.
Whether you buy or lease your new 78 car, your nearby Bay Area Lincoln Mercury dealer is the man to see.
Lindsey Nelson, let me say as we wrap up tonight's ball game, it's been a great pleasure to share the Mutual microphones with you so many times on Monday nights, the playoff games, the bowl games, and games like the Pro Bowl here. Just a great, great pleasure to share our Mutual microphones with you, and it's been fun.
It's been a great deal of fun, Al. Thank you very kindly for all your great help and your high good humor and your company. And my thanks to Ed Little and Jack Clements and Luke Griffin and all the people at Mutual for the opportunity of having worked another year of Monday Night Football, concluding with this Pro Bowl. Al, thank you very much.
Tonight's Pro Bowl was brought to you by the Convention and Tourist Authority of Las Vegas, the Buick Motor Division of General Motors, the Teamsters, by GM Trucks, and by Pennzoil, the motor oil worth asking for. Our statistician tonight was Sam Bennett. Our remote engineer was Rod McMorrow. Our field producer, the old standby, Luke Griffith. Washington studio engineer was Jim Harmon, and our studio producer was Keith Newby. Executive producer for Mutual Sports is Jack Clements. Again, the final score, the NFC 14, the AFC 13. Now, this is Al Wester speaking for Lindsey Nelson saying so long from Tampa, Florida.